And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're listening to and/or watching ABL Live. You could be almost anywhere in the U.S. Some states are opening up, some states aren't. But wherever you are in the world, I'm glad you're right here with me tonight. There's a whole lot going on. There's a whole lot happening in the streets, the political streets, the actual, everyday, regular streets. This lockdown stuff is really crazy. I'm going to start with that just before we even get to the show. LA County says, look, we're not going to open up anytime soon. I'm reading this article right now from Fox LA, and it says Los Angeles County announces new quote unquote safer at home order with no end date. And I said on my Facebook the other day, I was like, they're going to keep extending it until 2 years and went by and you've not left your house. Now the question has to be, if there's no end date and keep you at home forever, when will you ever leave your house? When will you ever go back to work? When will you ever be able to do anything? I mean, this is ridiculous. How are people going to eat? And I was watching this debate with some people and they're talking about, it was two news anchors, some random nobodies talking to this actual scientist, a guy that knows what he's talking about, scientist and/or doctor, and they're talking about, well, keep everybody at home and give them a UBI. It's like, well, you 3,000 IQ geniuses don't understand that it has to be an economy for people to be able to buy things. We'll talk about that and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And once again, I thank you all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, hit that like button for me, share the video as well. And if you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're doing, go ahead and subscribe for me. This video will be available again to watch on YouTube, of course. It will also be available on all or most audio streaming platforms. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Anchor, Google Play, Spotify, all that good stuff. A link for that will be in the description box. It'll send you to the Anchor page, but from that page, you'll be able to access all the other platforms that I'm on. And if you just search ABL Live in your favorite audio streaming service, I should come right on up. Alrighty. But there's a whole lot going on. California, well, specifically LA County. And some may try to minimize this whole thing of LA County not opening anytime soon. They're talking about July, maybe even August, and there's not even no actual set date. The reason why LA County is important to talk about is because someone said, can I do 3 hours, 30 minutes? No, 3 hours. But LA County has 10 million people in it. There are a lot of states that don't have that many people. Okay. So when you lock down 10 million people, you're going to have some problems. Crime is going to rise. You're going to have unemployment, of course, rise, despair, drug addiction, alcoholism. It's funny how like some of the salons, barbershops or whatever are deemed as non-essential, but the weed man is. You go to the dispensary, smoke your weed, get your drugs, all that good stuff. You could probably get a fresh heroin needle right now with no problem, all right, to go shoot your drugs on the street, your crack pipe or whatever, to smoke your drugs on the street. But if you want to go work, if you want to go get a haircut, if you want to do basic things like, I don't know, eat in the restaurant, have date night with your lady, now you can't do that, but you can go out and get how you want to. That's all going to rise, and you're going to see a lot of other ancillary problems rise. And I've seen this stat, and I've said it in some of my most recent videos. For every 1 point of unemployment that we rise, you're going to have 10,000 people that die. So if you go and rise 20 points in unemployment from, right around 3 to over 20, let's say 23, you're going to have 200,000 deaths just from that. And that's probably being conservative with the number. So what are we really doing? And then the WHO was saying, well, the virus ain't going nowhere. Now, the WHO has gotten plenty of things wrong, but they're not totally just morons up China's hind parts. You understand what I'm saying? They actually say some things that make sense. They say some things that are correct. The virus ain't going nowhere. Like, let's just pause for a moment and look at it. Coronavirus. What is that? It talks about a family of viruses. It is a family of viruses. Under that family of viruses, you have the China virus, Then you have the common cold. You also have SARS and MERS. They're all under the same umbrella. Is there a cure for any of those? Is there a vaccine for any of those? Is there any kind of treatment just beyond like your basic cold medicine or just trying to get over it after a few days? Is there any way to really get beyond it? They're talking about, oh, it's going to be a vaccine available by the fall. You're right. I ain't taking that vaccine. No way. They're going to rush something together, some slap shot little thing to put a Band-Aid on it. I rather would just take my chances being out there, potentially catching it rather than putting it inside my body and then hoping that prevents me from getting it, which makes no sense. But I digress. My whole point is that it ain't going nowhere. So what's the point of doing the lockdown for forever? I'm gonna read this article right quick. I'm just now seeing this article. I saw the whole thing about them saying that they may not lift the restriction until July or August, but I did not see this one. Okay. And the first line of this article, I'm gonna read right quick. Matter of fact, let me put it on the screen so you guys can read along with me. The first line in the article is what I've been thinking was going to be the case all over the country. And of course it is, according to what I'm reading here. All right. You guys, if you can't read this, if you're listening to it and not reading it, it says Los Angeles County announces new safer home order with no end date. The first line says Los Angeles County officials announced a new safer home health officer order Wednesday, 2 days before the county's initial order was set to expire. So they already had one in place. They said, oh, no, it'll expire May 15th. You guys are back to normal. And then May 13th, they're like, nope, let's do the safer at home. And nobody leaves at all. Matter of fact, we're not going to put a date on it this time because we don't even care about getting your hopes up and then crushing them. We'll just say stay home for the rest of your life until we feel like you can come out. Because the virus ain't going nowhere. People think that the virus will go away. People are saying, hey, man, if we just stay home and all this and that, the virus will go away. It's like, really? Is that how this works? That's like staying home and hoping that the sun goes away. It ain't going nowhere. It's going to be right there when you come outside. Right there. Okay. And if you are not used to the sun being on you, it might be kind of a shock. The same way, if you're not used to being outside might be a shock to you. You know, your immune system is getting hit with all kind of stuff. It's getting bombarded with all kind of stuff. And how are you going to be able to defend yourself against it when you've not been out there to build up a resistance at all? Okay, let me read some of this. County officials said that they continue to refer to the orders at quote unquote safer at home because currently residents are safer when they stay at home. Is that true? So why is it 84% of those that were hospitalized with the virus in New York came from either a nursing home or at home? Quarantining, social distancing, all this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, the homeless, like 2% of those that are hospitalized because their immune systems are on, I'm talking about like Iron Man status. You understand? If you could be outside living in a tent with all kind of garbage from all over the place, human waste, plastic, drugs, rats, roaches, all of that in the tent, and with water from rain, all of that just being in one place. If you can live like that, you can survive anything. You might get hit with a nuclear blast and be all right afterwards. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, they got a strong immune system, but you or whoever is being forced to be in the house are going to have a weaker immune system because you're not out in their environment being exposed to anything. Okay. Now, hold on. I'm gonna read this right quick. While the safer at home orders will remain in place over the next few months, restrictions will be gradually relaxed under our 5-stage roadmap to recovery. How about not? How about just go ahead and relax that right now? And shout out to my man, Elon Musk. Like I said before, I don't know much about him personally, about his politics or whatever he got going on with himself, but I applaud him for bucking against what they're trying to do in California. He's up there in Fremont, which is in Alameda County. That's in the San Francisco Bay Area. They had this order up there. Oh, I got to back up a little bit. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, had started to reopen things. He released restrictions on manufacturing, or he loosened guidelines on manufacturing, which would have allowed Tesla to go back into production. So when Tesla heard that, they're like, okay, great, fantastic, let's get back to work. But in his relaxing of restrictions, he also gave leeway to the individual municipalities within the state to do what they want to do, which is why LA County have their own safer at home thing. That's why Alameda County has their thing about no manufacturing until the end of the month. And they may try to extend that beyond that because they've extended these things before. Remember when it first happened, it was 15 days to slow the spread. Then that became Easter. Then that became April 30th. Now it's May 13th and states are still closed. They're talking about they might not open for months to come. You understand? So Alameda County was like, nope, we're going to close you down. But Elon Musk was like, you know what? We're going to reopen. And if you're going to arrest somebody, arrest me. How about that? And he did just that. And as a result of that, Alameda County backed down. They sure did back down, talking about, oh, we reviewed paperwork and we gave them a special provision. Nah, you backed down because you knew that if Tesla, like, all you're going to do by arresting Elon Musk is to give Tesla a reason to sue you and win and also to leave. You're going to lose all kind of money doing that. So they had no choice. I'm glad he was able to do that. Now I hope that they relax all these restrictions upon everybody else and not just Tesla. But that was a good thing for them to stand up for their rights and not just back down to, whatever California's trying to do. And there's really no point behind it because, at the end of the day, the virus ain't going nowhere. So what's the point? Like, you could be under quarantine for 6 months, but once you come out of quarantine, it'll be right there. So you be back at square one. The whole thing was to slow the spread and flatten the curve. That was the whole thing, right? We've gone way beyond slowing the spread, way beyond flattening the curve. Hospitals are now overwhelmed. They're laying off staff. We just, at this point, now it's a political thing. It was a safety thing. Now it's become a political thing. Now it's become a weapon to use against certain people in certain places to have them under control. And also, they want to have this whole thing of mail-in voting. They probably want to extend the order up until November. That's what they might want. So then they can say, all right, well, look, you can't be outside at the polls. Or if you're on a long line because you got to be 6 feet apart, you don't want to do that. It's unsafe. You might be out on the street. A car might hit you. So guess what? Here's your mail-in ballot. And they're going to be doing all types of voter fraud, ID theft, the whole 9 yards, right? That's going to go on. So this is a political strategy at this point in time. It's not even about safety anymore. Now, I've seen that whole thing about the new stimulus package. Please don't do that. If anybody can hear my cry, please don't do any more stimulus. We already are leveraged beyond leverage. You're talking about, what is it, like 6.8 trillion? If you include the stimulus, I don't know how many there are, how many versions of the same thing are out there. I have no idea. But you also got the Fed, and they got money. They're bailing out stuff. They're bailing out Wall Street, all this, that, and the third. So 6.8 trillion already. And then you want to have 3 more trillion on top of that. Where's the logic there? How does it make sense to add so much money to the debt? The money, we don't have that money. It's just going to be debt. We were already high on the debt to begin with, like what, 23, 24 trillion. Now you want to go to what, 35 trillion? For what? Why? It's not going to help. Just like I was talking about in a debate with the 2 news anchors, and the guy that's actually like a professional, a scientist, a doctor, or whatever. They're trying to say, hey, well, let's let everybody stay home and let them get UBI. So if they get $2,000 a month, they'll be able to buy things. But the problem is that nobody's producing things. What are you going to buy if nobody's producing? Okay, the economy around people is still crumbling. That UBI, whatever they want to call it, is not going to help. It's not going to work. It doesn't make any sense. This whole unemployment thing should get kicked out of here too. We need to get back to actually working rather than paying people not to work. People are getting paid not to work. It's like, well, I'm going to stay at home because I'm getting paid. This has got to end. And then they want to have all types of stuff in there. They want to have Green New Deal. And it's like, man, look, we don't got no time for this. We don't got no time for you to try to fleece the nation to leverage the future of the country, to mortgage the future of the country because you want to have your own political ideology set forward. We don't have time for that at all. None whatsoever. Oh, yeah, Luciano, hey, you know what? It could be 24 trillion, 35 trillion, 40 trillion, who knows? And then, because look at it like this. Even with all that spending, 6.8 trillion, they're talking about the unemployment rate could be 25%. That's Great Depression. Obviously, whatever we're doing is not really working out too well. The best thing would be to get back to work and let the economy work rather than trying to put all this government money into it. That ain't gonna do nothing but just complicate things, cause inflation, cause people to be incentivized to not work. It's gonna damage the economy, damage the future, damage our position in the world. It's a thing that doesn't make any sense to me. I understand people need money, they need relief, but they need money and relief from working. That's it. That's all there is to it. Yeah, the jobs gotta be back. Jobs gotta come back. If there's no jobs, then there's no America. You can't just create money. You can't just print money and have that save the day. That's not how this is gonna work at all. Alrighty. So shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being here. We got a live audience in the building. If you like what you're hearing so far, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. That'll help me out a whole lot. Alrighty. Thank you to all the super chatters. I'm going to read some of these right quick, and then I'm going to get back on topic. Hold on. Let me just make sure I know where I'm at right quick. Okay. Oh, yeah. We got plenty more topics to talk about. There's a whole lot of things to talk about. Let's go to shout out to Meme JPEG, who says, I want to shout out to God. He's been good to me. He brought me from a mighty long way. Don't think I'm special. He be keeping you too. Yes. So just thank him. Well, thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And thank God. Absolutely. Thank you to Leo Mazzino, who says 3 trillion, no, and no on that bill. I'm right there with you, Leo. Right there with you. No more money. We spent too much money already. We spent about 6 trillion too much already, maybe. Now they want to add 3 more. Come on. Like, this is stupid. Shout out to Musso Bronze, who says, say ABL. I'm kind of starting to feel like this breakdown of life as we know it may not be bad after all. I mean, maybe folks will start waking up, listening here. And what say you? 100. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. I'm not sure what you mean. I think maybe you're talking about people are starting to see what's happening around them and they're saying, hey, I don't like that too much. This might not be a good thing. How about I do something else, go a different direction? I think you're right about that for sure. Kind of a blessing in disguise. People are seeing the way that things are operating and they're not really big fans of it. Matter of fact, hold on. Shout out to Paul Joseph Watson on Twitter. He posted this tweet and I thought this was really timely. Okay. And if you can't read it, it says, here's your new normal. Hope you like it. And there's 2 pictures. Now, one is of, it's like a school, like a kid's school. These got to be small kids, like toddlers. And they have little X's spray painted on the ground outside next to a wall. It's probably a school or something. And they're having the kids, I guess, play individually on the X's. This is so crazy. And then another picture, it has the kids. It's kind of hard to see this one because of my window. Let me just move it over a little bit. There we go. Another picture, you got kids like literally playing in chalk boxes that are socially distanced away from each other. Like, how was this any way for kids to be? This was like jail with no bars. This is how they do you in jail. Matter of fact, you're allowed more contact in the penitentiary than you are in kids' schools. Oh, this is a new normal. Really? Is that a new normal? That's not the normal that I know about, that I want to have for my future. So people are going to just be against it. And I tell you what, it'll be the people that say no more, because where I live, where I'm at, everywhere, like the traffic is off the chain. It's packed. It's jumping. It's back basically to normal. The only thing is restaurants, if you go in there, it could be like some tables that are socially distanced, but beyond that, everything's back to normal. Yeah, it's crazy. And shout out to my man, Kevin James. I think he's the guy that played on King of Queens, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But he did a short video on YouTube. You got to see it. He was just sitting in the park, chilling on a park bench, and he saw a friend of his, came up to him. They struck up a conversation. At the end of the conversation, and shake hands at the end. And then there's somebody right there with a phone and the mask on, taking the picture. Oh, matter of fact, nah, he was calling the police, talking about 911. Yeah, I got some handshakers right here, right in front of me. And then everybody come out of the bushes with their phones, taking pictures. And in the beginning of the video, they showed what the result of what happened at the end was, which was them running through the forest. You got the police, dogs trying to catch them. That's what's going on nowadays. They're telling you for just shaking hands, for not socially distancing, all kind of ridiculous stuff. So, yeah, shout out to Kevin James. Yes, indeed. Shout out to him. That was a really good little short film right there, all day long. Alrighty. But what else we got going on? Oh, it's a whole lot happening. Rand Paul, shout out to Rand Paul for tearing Dr. Anthony Fauci to pieces. He took him behind the woodshed, beat him like he stole something. He really did a good job during the Senate hearing. I'm not sure what the Senate hearing was for specifically. I guess it was about the virus, because at one point, Rand Paul was talking about how kids should go back to school. Fauci was kind of alluding to kids and maybe not going back to school because it won't be a vaccine ready by the fall, all this, that, and the third. And it won't be a vaccine ready because it ain't going to be no vaccine, period. And if there is a vaccine, I highly advise you to not take it. Do not take the vaccine, especially if it comes out early. Like if it comes out in the fall or in next month or something, they rushed it. If there's no vaccine for the common cold, SARS, MERS, or anything else, then why would it be a vaccine for this virus, which is in the same family as other viruses? It ain't really going to be a thing. Shout out to Stacey Felice, who says, I'll be in Tennessee in July, escape from New York. Hey, come on down to Tennessee. You're welcome here. Like I said, today it was jumping. Traffic was heavy. I think people are going to other states to escape their state that does not allow them to move around and do what they want to do, to live life, go outside and do things, to go to work and stuff like that. People are escaping. But as I was saying about Rand Paul, he tore Dr. Fauci apart, and it was fantastic to see it. He was just giving like common sense things. He was like, look, you aren't the end all be all, Mr. Fauci, with all due respect. You're not the end all be all. There are other doctors like Rand Paul, because people don't necessarily know that Rand Paul is a doctor. He's an ophthalmologist. That means he does eye surgery. Okay, so these are legitimate doctors. I've had eye surgery. These guys are the real deal. They're actually doctors. They ain't just the guys that give you the eye test in Walmart. And shout out to them. They are doctors, I guess, as well. But Rand Paul is actually a surgeon. All right, but I'll move on. Anyway, he tore them apart. And I think we need more of that on Capitol Hill. I've not seen too much of that. People just kind of agree with Fauci. And Fauci's response was halfway true, but also halfway false. He's like, well, I'm not the only guy that does this. We have a whole team of people, all this, that, and the third. But the problem with that is, Mr. Fauci, is that the media put Fauci on this big high pedestal. And whatever he says is pretty much what they run with and what they give to the American people. That's why you got all these people talking about protect Fauci, listen to Fauci, all this, that, and the third, because the media have propped him up as some kind of figure to listen to. To those on the left specifically, they're not trying to say that he's a good guy, a bipartisan guy. They're trying to make him be some type of left-wing figure. And he doesn't help when he goes on TV and speaks kind of negatively of the administration. And it's weird because when he's right there next to the president or anyone else that happens to be on the right, he won't do that. He'll have a more measured type of approach. But when he's not around them, it's different, just different enough to cause discord among people. He's not forceful enough in rebuking the media when they try to paint him as some kind of anti-Trump person, which is why a lot of what he says has so much weight, because people are putting pressure on everybody, on the administration. You got the constituents, they're scared. They're putting pressure on the local officials to do something about it. You got the Karens calling on their phone if you're shaking hands, because Dr. Fauci said you can't shake hands no more. He's not doing a very good job of trying to regulate what goes on as far as his image to the media. But it is what it is. Oh, and then we could talk about Dr. Fauci being very close friends with Hillary and Bill, Slick Willie, and Bill Gates. and everybody else having ties to big pharma wants to promote one drug over the other. Wants to promote remdesivir rather than hydroxychloroquine. Remdesivir is an expensive experimental drug. Okay, he wants to promote that to treat coronavirus. But when you're talking about hydroxychloroquine, a drug that's been used all over the world for a very long time since World War II, that's been very effective in treating the virus, then you don't want to talk about that. So what's really going on? Okay, and hydroxychloroquine is cheap. It's a generic. You can get it for pennies on the dollar, basically. It's a cheap thing versus remdesivir, which is very expensive in the IV treatment, all right? So what's really going on? That's what I want to know. I'm not a fan of Dr. Fauci, and from the beginning, I was not a fan. This is before any kind of controversy. I would just kind of see him and what he was saying. He's talking about, oh, there could be between 100,000 and 200,000 deaths. I was like, man, come on. At the time, I'd have been like 2,000. Now, I knew it would be some people that died, but come on. He had this like doom and gloom thing that if you don't shelter in place and wash your hands anyway, but still, if you don't social distance and you're going to cause catastrophic disaster. He was saying between 100,000 and 200,000 with precautions. And they're trying to say, not Fauci, but the media are trying to say there's spikes in states that have reopened. Well, how do you quantify a spike? How do you actually quantify that? Because, I mean, you're not testing everybody every day. You're not testing somebody one day and they don't have it, and then the next day they do have it, and then you're logging where they've been, how long they've been there, who they've been around. You're not logging that. All you're doing, you just able to test new people and then judge them that way, but you can't say where they were, how long they had it, or whatever, just from testing them, from doing new tests. And I tell you what, though, if they're gonna test me, don't give me no long, foot long Q-tip in my nose. I don't want that action going on. I ain't trying to have them scrape my brain. I'm not really a fan of that at all. Oh, and is Fauci also tied to China? I wouldn't doubt it. Not at all. Fauci ain't the guy that you really want to listen to. And shout out to my man, Rand Paul. There are so many doctors that we're ignoring. People say, ABL, you don't want to listen to science. You don't believe Fauci. He's just one guy. He even said that. He's like, I'm one guy. Okay, there are other doctors, like legitimate people that have years of experience, education, training, guys that educate other doctors, okay? Doctors that educate other doctors, professors from world-renowned universities all over the world are saying that, hey, we could do things a little bit differently. We could follow the Swedish model. And it's funny because the left will usually point to Sweden as an example of how communism could work, although they don't have that there, or socialism. They try to point to them as an example, although that's not really true. But in this case, when we actually have a thing that seems to make sense, not locking down, just doing moderate changes, social distancing, this, that, and the third, then they don't want to talk about that. Then all of a sudden, they just ignore Sweden. They say, okay, Finland, Norway, something else right here. Germany, I don't know. Sweden, what's that? What's Sweden? Copenhagen, Malmö. No, never heard of it. That's how they pretty much are. Not Copenhagen, Malmö, and Stockholm. Never heard of it. Don't know where it is. That's how they're treating Sweden right now. It's really a crazy shame. And I don't understand why, except for just trying to grab power. And you're willing to wreck an economy and ruin lives. They said 100,000 businesses have permanently gone under because of the virus. 100,000 permanently, not just, are we going to come back? We're going to just take a little moment. Permanently. It's crazy. All right, let me see. I'm reading some of the chat here. Let me see. Elaine says, yeah, closing down the whole country of 330 million folks for 90 to 95,000 deaths makes a lot of sense. A bad flu year at worst. Is anyone doing the math? Exactly. We had 80,000 that died in the 2017-2018 winter season, about a 4 or 5 month stretch. 80,000 people that died from the flu, allegedly, because really what they're dying from is pneumonia, but different story. I'll move on. The numbers that they're using were pretty much the same as the flu. And with the COVID virus, it's not even, people are dying from random stuff. unrelated to the virus, and then they're saying, oh, they died of COVID, or they count it as a COVID death to pad the numbers to make it look worse than what it is. At the same time, they won't talk about studies that have been done, like I think it might have been USC or UC Berkeley somewhere, that says there are more people that are infected than what we know from testing. So if you have, let's say, 500,000 tested, but you really, out of that 500,000, you got 25,000 that are positive, but you really have like 5 million that are positive. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like you're not testing enough people. You don't know who has it, who doesn't. People have already had it before March. Obviously, they had it last year when it first broke out, and people were still traveling to and from China, like to Wuhan and going to the United States and back. People have been had it. So people just not really using their brain too much. But what else is happening? Oh, yeah. Now, Ahmaud Arbery, talk about him right quick. There's been some new video that has come out. I'm not quite sure if I said it in the last live stream, but there's been new video that has come out, and it shows that Ahmaud Arbery this story might be over. I'm seeing less and less and less coverage of the Ahmaud Arbery situation. You know, that's not really a thing anymore. People have pretty much moved on. They've gone to other things. It's not even a trending topic no more on Twitter. It's pretty much a wrap, because I think now people know that there's a reason why the guy that shot Ahmaud Arbery did not get charged to begin with, because it'd be a hard case to prove. In the Ahmaud Arbery situation, you got to prove that, number one, Ahmaud Arbery was jogging, okay, to prove that whole narrative. Oh, he was just jogging. You got to prove that. In the video, you don't see no jogging. You see walking and sprinting into the house to check it out, see what's going on. But then you got to prove that Ahmaud Arbery had to attack the guys first, although they had guns. And then you got to say, even though the guys were attacked first, that Ahmaud Arbery was within his right to do so, and that they were wrong for shooting them to retaliate against the attack, to, fight back, to have self-defense. All right, it ain't retaliate, it's to defend themselves. You got to prove they did not have that right to do that, although generally, if you get attacked, you have the right to defend yourself, all right? And that includes using your weapon. And you got it on you, he's trying to take it from you, what are you gonna do? And then on top of that, the gun could have went off by accident because Ahmaud Arbery was tussling for it. You gotta prove that some things are true and some things are not true. And it'd be hard to get a conviction. They're talking about murder. Good luck with that. You're talking about manslaughter at best. Manslaughter at best. Yeah, I know Robert Patillo. I know who he is. Robert 10,000. I saw some of the video that he did, but I could not watch all of it. Zach says, Lucas practically called your argument foolish, ABL. Well, when did he do that? I was on stream with him, last night? And he didn't say anything about my argument being foolish. He said, matter of fact, that we pretty much were in sync. So I don't know where the whole foolish thing came out. It's funny, if that happened, how people change when they're not around. Yeah, matter of fact, I don't even believe that. You got to show me the video where he said I was foolish, because like I said, I was on the stream with him and he said my argument was sound. I said the exact same thing. I was like, look, you got to be able to prove it in court that the guy had the right to attack the guys with the guns first. And you got to prove that he was a jogger. You got to prove so many things that don't seem to have any evidence that supports it. What's going to happen, in my humble opinion, is that they're going to bring up more dirt on Ahmaud Arbery. They're going to bring out pictures of him with guns and drugs, and they're going to find stolen things in his possession wherever he lives at. That might end up happening. And then if that happens, the case will be over with. There will be no more attention paid to the case. There will be a motion to dismiss, and it'll get dismissed. What's the point wasting money on a case like that? They won't go anywhere. Okay, Tommy said he's doing a video with him now. Oh, okay, he's doing a video with him now. I see. Yeah, but I don't know what changed between then and now. If he said my argument is foolish, then when I was on the stream with him, he didn't say that. He said that he agreed with me, so it's kind of weird. Alrighty. Now, the night footage might not be him. I'm not really sure, you know what I'm saying, if they did him or not. But it don't even really matter, because what you got to prove is that you got to be able to justify Ahmaud Arbery attacking the guys first. If you can make that make sense, you might have a chance. Manslaughter, maybe. But if you can't say that he was right to do that, then it's over. Ain't no conviction. They'll beat that. You know, it is what it is. Somebody says, all I hear is blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's a 3,000 IQ comment right there. I mean, good grief. Shout out to the $1 million IQ. All right, let me see. Jason Bourne says, yeah, but why were the vigilantes chasing them down like, why were the hillbillies chasing them down like vigilantes if it wasn't their stuff that was stolen? Why they had the right to pursue? Well, nobody said they stole anything, number one. But number two, the law says in Georgia that if you suspect someone has committed a crime, you have the lawful right to follow them and call the police. That's the law. So you may think that they were being overzealous, and that's fine. I might even agree with you, but it doesn't matter what you feel. What matters is what the law says. The law says you have the right to do that. And you can have your gun. It's an open carry state in Georgia. You can have your gun. Okay. And they did not, what you got to be able to prove is a couple of things. You got to be able to prove that these guys pointed their guns at him, told him to, get on the ground or I'm going to shoot you, I'm going to kill you. You got to prove that there was some kind of threat. And the tape that we saw, that's not there. So you got to be able to prove it. Maybe there's a different tape somewhere, more evidence or witness or something like that to come out and say what happened. You got to do ballistics to see if there was any kind of, you got to do all of that to see what's going on. But you don't have any evidence of that. All we have evidence of right now is that the guys were following the law according to the law. And then Ahmaud Arbery came to them and attacked them. So when you go to court, you're going to look at the law and what that says. And that will determine whether they get off or not. It's simple. That's just how it works. And then you're going to overcharge him murder. He'll beat that. He will definitely beat a murder charge. And ag assault, you got to be able to prove that Ahmaud Arbery was right to be the aggressor. I felt threatened, I feared for my life, all this and that. You got to be able to try to get that one over to the jury and have them agree. So it is what it is. When was the stream? This was on Instagram. I think that might have been last night, actually. Was it last night or night before last? It might have been last night, actually. Yeah. So that's all that is. Yeah, that's right, Alex, though. I got an ice box where my heart used to be. I don't really care too much about the emotion. I'm all about the facts. The facts is all that matter, because when you go to court, if you ever been to court, they don't really care too much about how you feel, all of that stuff. You got to make legal arguments. So you got to be able to prove your argument. And if you can't, then you're pretty much out of luck. That's all that it is to it. Okay. Let me see. Now, the stealing does not have to happen. The homeowner said the house was not robbed. That's not really important, because it's not even about if he stole something. It's about they can follow him if they think he is a suspect in the crime. That's what the law says. Not that he did steal something. That's just how that is. It ain't nothing else to it. Okay, let me see. Rapper 10,000 says, my governor is going to close the state of Illinois indefinitely. This is tyranny. Our rally is May 16th. Hey, hopefully you have a good rally out there, and keep doing it. Don't just do it one time. Keep on doing it. Matter of fact, what I would do is like Elon Musk. Just open your business, go to the business. If everybody's out there, if everybody's just, the traffic is heavy, everybody's going to eat, they can't lock everybody up. That's what I would do, for sure. But all that matters is, as far as Ahmaud Arbery, is what the law says. Nothing else really matters. How we feel is unimportant. What matters is the law. If you want justice, then the law matters. That's all. Let me see. Peace Poppy says, this is the thing. If you were innocent, you would be in fear for your life. Well, again, you got to be able to take that to court and prove it. That's it. Because if you can't get that across in court, it don't even matter. It does not matter. That's all that there is. It ain't me trying to say nothing. I don't really care about anybody involved. I don't care about the shooters or Ahmaud Arbery. Now, if somebody innocent was to be killed for no good reason, then that's, I care about that idea, but I don't know Ahmaud Arbery and I don't know these guys that shot him. So what matters is the facts. Let me see. Yeah, I saw Brandon Tatum's video on it. He had a very good video. Shout out to him. That's my brother right there. He had a very good video on the subject. More super chats, and I'm gonna get to my next topic. Let me see. Shout out to F Google, who says, ABL, love your common sense thinking. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Alrighty. Thank you to Matthew, who says, I was a Rand Paul 2016 delegate. Oh, all right, all right. Shout out to Rand Paul. Hey, he did a great job spanking down Anthony Fauci. That was fantastic. Took him behind the woodshed, tore him to pieces. All right. Shout out to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, businessweekly.com is reporting that CNN Stelter inked spokesperson deal with Krispy Kreme and COVID crisis, amid COVID crisis. Hilarious. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Deep Centerfield Press, who says, check this tweet out. Ferguson headed up UK lab that released a report 4 days after Gates left Microsoft Gates Foundation, gave Imperial 79.6 million in March. Jason T. Powers. Okay, that's a link right there. Hey, we'll see what's going on with that. Now, Ferguson, that's the same guy that got caught with the mistress. You know, while he's saying everybody stay home, I'm predicting we're going to have catastrophic death if nobody stays home. That same guy, is it him? Shout out to Benjamin for your donation. Definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Andrea, who says, facts don't care about your feelings. That's it. Facts do not care about your feelings. You know, it's black and white. It's written in stone. It is what it is. And when you go to court, it can, if you're in court and you're accused of a thing, you want the facts to matter. You know, you definitely want the facts to matter. You don't want a person in there making emotional arguments against you. You want them to make factual arguments so it's fair. All right. I don't want nobody in talking about, oh, I felt like he did this. Nah. Have a factual argument and be able to prove it. And let's have things be fair. That's it. All right. Sock says, thank you for having some topics that are different than just talking about the virus. It gets frustrating listening to you call about the virus. Yeah, I try to kind of like have more things about that, but it's like a dominating topic right now. But I try to talk about other things if I can. I did not see Kevin Corner's video about the tweet from LeBron. I didn't see that. But I know it was a good one. Shout out to Kevin's Corner. Good dude. All right. Valerie Rogers says the left don't care about facts. They don't. They don't care about facts. Facts, they only thing they care about is things that will help them benefit themselves. They don't really care about what's true or what's false. That's not even important to them. It's all about what will help them. Thank you to Rich Guevara, who says, ABL, God bless. God bless you as well, boss. All day long. Bennett Arnold says 99% of corona predictions and models are wrong. Oh, yeah. The models ain't nowhere near where they're supposed to be or what they said they were going to be. Just totally wrong. And I knew that was going to be the case from the beginning. I knew that from the beginning. And then the WHO came out and said that the virus ain't going nowhere or it might not go anywhere. It's like you don't say. So I was told that if I stayed at my house that it'd go away, but obviously it's not. And they're even saying that. So what are we even doing? It doesn't make any sense at all. Alrighty. Let me see. There's a whole lot going on. I don't even know. Oh, spoke about Tesla already. Oh, and Elon Musk was talking about going to Texas rather than California because of the virus restrictions. But he said, you know what? All right, let's open up right now and see what they're going to do. I'll be on the line. But hopefully he does leave. I saw Joe Rogan today. He said he might leave, go to Texas. People are leaving these states and they're saying, you know what? It's enough. I'm done. And it makes sense. If you can't live in a place, literally, why live there? Why would I sign up to get locked up? If I'm moving from, let's say, Georgia to California, why would I do that? I'm free in Georgia, or at least I should be free in Georgia. Why would I move from being free to being locked up? It doesn't make any sense. That's like choosing to go to the penitentiary when you have the direct option not to. If the judge says, hey, okay, you got two options. A, go to jail, or B, go home. You're going to go home because you got freedom rather than going to the penitentiary. It doesn't make any sense. Paragon said 60% of affected people are people who stayed home. Nah, it's more than that. It's 84% once you add those that were in nursing homes. And it's more than that were just at home or not in nursing homes. All right, almost 70%. So this whole thing is a farce. It's a scam. What they call it, scamdemic. Yeah, that's all it is. But one thing I say to anybody that's, well, you guys know, this is like preaching to the choir here, but to anybody out there that may vote liberal, don't go to a place that's open, a red state, the South, or whatever it is, and then still vote liberal there. Okay, the liberal voting is the reason why you're still on lockdown and you might not get off of it. You know, they may try to extend you for 2 years. It's already been, like 2 months? They might go 2 years. I mean, they said at first 15 days, then it became Easter, then it became May 1st, then it became June, July, August, indefinite, just whenever. It's crazy. All right, let me see. I'm just reading some of the chats here. Shout out to Draco and Kodak, who say, I had to go to the tattoo shop to get a piece of jewelry replaced. I had to sneak in through the back and pay with cash to leave a paper trail. I feel bad for people like this who have to sneak around just to make an income. Yeah, it's crazy. And thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate it. It's ridiculous. It's like, we're not doing anything illegal. We're not over here selling drugs and, beating up dogs or nothing like that. Unlike China, different story. I'll move on. Anyway, it ain't nothing really going on. What is the big deal? And speaking of China, did you guys see where Trump was accused of being racist for telling the Asian lady to ask China? I mean, how does it make any sense? Trump has been talking about China for the longest. Okay, for the longest. You got a whole trade war going on. You got all that stuff happening. So why is it racist to say, ask China, when you asking the question about the virus? All right, he's blamed China. You got a whole trade war with China. That's a constant talk from Trump is about that country. So why is it racist now? It was crazy. And she talking about why are you saying that to me? It's like, look. And then when she said it, she pulled her mask off. So you know she's Asian. She's trying to get that photo op, trying to get that media attention. It's a game at this point. They're all just trying to antagonize the president to get a reaction, to get some attention, to make the news. Like the journalists nowadays want to be the news themselves. Rather than reporting the news, they want to be the news. That's not what journalism is. You got to actually report and do a good and fair job reporting, not trying to, become some kind of influencer on your own. That's not what your job is. If you want to do that, then don't be working for CBS, masquerading as a reporter. Just be on Instagram doing that. You could be like, I don't know who it is, one of these people that's kind of like busting up celebrities and just show up in wherever they are, the microphone, do that. Don't try to act like you're a reporter and then behave as some kind of activist. It's crazy. But they're trying to say he was racist for saying ask China. It's like, look, lady, I don't care what you are, who you are, where you're from. Like, it's obvious that China is the reason why we're here today. So ask them about why we got a test and why we are bragging about how many tests we've done. And it's weird because the media say that Trump not doing enough testing. We're lagging behind the rest of the world in testing. We're like super low per capita as far as testing. We got to tighten it up. We got to step it up, all this, that, and the third. So then when Trump and the rest of the nation, the administration, private business, whatever, public business, they step up their testing and we got a big number of tests. And then Trump says, hey, we're doing great with tests, the best in the world. Then they say, why you got to brag about it? Why you got to brag about it? Wasn't it you that was saying that I need to do more testing? I'm telling you, I'm doing more testing and we're doing the best in the world. Why you got to brag about it? It's crazy. So rather than asking me this dumb question, ask China. Are they doing widespread testing? Are they reporting their real numbers? You got 1.3 billion people with a B in the nation, and they said, oh, all we got is about 5,000 deaths. Really? 5,000 deaths, 80,000 cases in the whole country of 1.3 billion? Get real. They tell you whatever they want to tell you. You don't care about that in the mainstream media, but you want to grill the United States over what we have done. First it was we're not doing enough. Now it's bragging that we're doing too much. Which one is it? It's crazy. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what anybody on the right says or does. It's all about just trying to attack the administration. It's all about trying to attack those that are on the right in general, period. That's all that it is. That's all that it is. It's the same thing going on right now with Candace Owens. They're attacking her because they don't like her in general. They want to say, oh, Ahmaud Arbery, you hurt my feelings, blah, blah, blah. Really what it is, it's about envy built up, and it's about hatred towards her and Brandon and myself and everybody else that didn't like from the beginning. These are feelings that have been harbored for a while. They're just using the Ahmaud Arbery thing as an excuse to express those feelings, okay? Because if you get down to the core of it and you talk to them for a while, some old things will pop up. Well, you said this in 2016. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait. You talking about 4 years ago? I don't even remember that. I don't remember you from that time. We're talking about the virus and Ahmaud Arbery. You're talking about something totally different. So what's really going on? The media have an ulterior motive, obviously. You know, it's about trying to attack Trump, yes, but also trying to get themselves name recognition. That's all that there is to it. That's all that there is. All right. you can't please naysayers. You can't do it. You can't please these people. So just be yourself, and that's it. That's all you can really do. Yeah, there's no winning. There's no winning in trying to appease the fake media. None whatsoever. Ryan Miller says, am I for or against mail-in voting? I'm against it in a sense of it being widespread. I think people that are in certain special categories should be able to mail in vote, like if you're in the military or something like that. But if you are at home at the crib chilling, then no, because what'll end up happening is you're going to have widespread fraud. And that's the goal. That's the end result that they want, is more fraud. So they're able to cheat the system. They know they can't win fair and square. So they got to go out there and do some fraud to succeed. And it's crazy. And when I say they, I mean the left. The right doesn't really do that too much. They may, but not for real. We don't want mail-in balloting. We don't want no voter ID. We don't want all these things that will make it easier to cheat the system. They say, oh, we want it to be easier to vote. No. Voting is not hard. All you got to do, get your ID card, license, whatever, go to the poll and vote. It's not a very hard thing to do. But they want to make things easier to manipulate, easier to cheat, easier to steal. And we don't want that. It's weird because the left will say the right had voter interference. You got the Russians involved. They don't have really a secure voting system. But then when we say, hey, let's not do paper ballots or through the mail because it could be manipulated, it could be treated that way. Oh, you're trying to restrict minorities from voting, all this, that, and the third. They got the virus. They don't want to be out in the crowd, all this and that. Then we say, let's require a photo ID. Oh, you're being racist. Minorities can't get IDs. It's like, really? How can I not get an ID? How hard is it to get an ID? If I don't have one, it's my choice to not have one. I can just go do it. You know, I know guys that have been to the penitentiary, they got IDs in the penitentiary. You can get an ID. It's not that hard. People just don't want to do it. They're being lazy. You got free ID cards in many states. Even if it's not free, it's like, what, $10, $20 at the most? Not very expensive at all. And to get welfare, EBT, WIC, TANF, Section 8, public housing, all that good stuff, you got to have an ID. Matter of fact, you got to have more than just your ID, birth certificate, all kind of identification, a bill with your name on it, all of that to prove who you are. But to vote, I can just go up there and say, hey, I'm Paul Henry, whatever. I'm going to cast my vote and have that be that. It's ridiculous. But it is what it is. Alrighty. You know what? Everybody, all these places, all these media outlets are going to defend China because they're all run by them. They all have financial interests with China. Yeah, if you got people that really can't leave their home, disabled or whatever the case, that's one thing. But just regular, everyday, people, able-bodied and all, that ain't really what it is. Let's not even do that. Yeah, yes, Zorro. Driver's license is an ID. You can use that to go vote. Matter of fact, when I vote, that's what I use, my driver's license. They say, hey, give me your license, your ID, whatever. I give it to them, fill out a little sheet, Go vote. I'm in and out, 5 minutes. It's easy breezy. Nothing to it at all. Oh yeah, you gotta have benefits too, AI. You gotta get the benefits. You gotta have your social security number, to get SSI, all that kind of good stuff. You gotta have all that. And you know what the result of not having to show ID in places like that is more identity theft. Okay, that's going on too. A lot of ID theft. So we don't want identity theft. We don't want voter fraud. We don't want anything like that to happen. So let's just have the appropriate measures in place to prevent it from going on. I don't really understand why that's a big deal, why it's so controversial to say. It doesn't make any sense. All right. Paul, I can't make orange hats actually, not on the platform I have. Maybe I can ask him if I can get an orange hat, just, because Orange Man bad, something like that. Hold on. Let me see. Willie from Philly says, apparently they want you to change over to real ID. How do you feel about that, ABL? Well, I don't know much about it. All I know about real IDs that it has a chip in it. But beyond that, I don't know much about it. And that's coming. They're saying that you couldn't board, before the virus hit, you couldn't board a flight if you did not get real ID by October. But that date may be kind of pushed ahead. I'm not sure if it has been, or if it has, when it's been pushed. But last year, when I was in the airports, they were saying October 1st, if you don't have it by then you can't get on a plane. Or if you don't have the real ID, you got to use a passport. If you got a newer passport, because it has a chip in it. So the chip, you already got the chip, really. If you got a passport, you have the chip already in your passport. And that same thing would be in your ID card if you have the real ID. So that might be the whole thing. So beyond that, I don't know much about it. Hydroxychloroquine, from what I've been reading, Kenny, it's a good thing to use. It's generic, it's cheap, it's effective, it's a proven drug, been around for a long time, minimal side effects. I say, it makes sense to use it for a lot of these patients that have the virus. And I think remdesivir is an experimental drug, very expensive. You shoot it through IV. Hydroxychloroquine is a little pill, a little tablet, 50 cents a whop is easy versus remdesivir, where you got to have this whole process to inject it in you. You got to inject the poison in you. Remember that? Oh, you can't say that. But then here comes Fauci talking about, remdesivir is going to be the drug of the future, all this, that, and the third, stupid stuff. Alrighty. Shout out to Leah Bryant, who says, Leah or Leah, hopefully I ain't butcher your name, who says, what do you think about the NIFB church? I'm ex-NIFB. Now, what is NIFB? I think I might know what that is, but I don't know what that is either. Yeah, well, thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. Shout out to Meme JPEG, who says, ABO, have you heard the rumors of war with China? What is your opinion? I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, but it won't be the apocalyptic event that many imagine. Our military is far superior. I have heard about a potential war with China. Some say it should happen because of what's going on with this virus and intellectual property theft and all kind of things that China does, currency manipulation. I don't think it'll actually happen, but it's possible that it could happen. And if it does, I think we most certainly will win. Like, for them, it wouldn't make sense to get into war with us because we are their chief consumer. It's kind of a marriage that's rocky right now, really, because you got us as a chief consumer and them as a chief producer. We need each other. So I don't really see a war happening, but there could be some issues. I'll leave it at that. All right. Shout out to Evil Black Cat, who says the script for Escape from LA 2, Corona Boogaloo, just writes itself at this point. Someone called Kurt Russell. Exactly. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Ray D. Harvey, who says, does Joe Biden remember the Flynn meeting or not? Which is the truth? Hey, that's a good question, because didn't he get unmasked as one of the unmaskers? You understand? Today, Joe Biden, that is. First it was like, I don't know anything. I don't remember anything. But then your name was on the list. That was revealed today. So either you just don't remember, your memory's not really good, or you're lying. Which one is it? I don't really know, but I'll move on. Alrighty. Let me see. I'm going to go and get to the calls now. You guys are great. Thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. Hopefully everybody's able to get their state opened. I know California is still on a lockdown, or at least LA County is, and parts of the state are as well. It's crazy. It's talking about indefinitely, forever, I guess. Yeah, you got to escape it at this point. So hopefully you guys are able to get up out of your lockdown as we are here in Tennessee. But I'm going to get to the calls now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me go ahead and get my Skype up and running. Leah says, NIFB is New Independent Fundamentalist Baptist. They advocate for the genocide of the LGBT plus community, including myself, by the government. I've not heard of that before. It sounded kind of cultish. Am I right about that? Is it kind of like a cult? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Because is it like, okay, it's a community, you can't really leave because if you leave, you don't have any more social ties, your friends don't talk to you no more. Is it like that? I'm not judging. I'm just kind of thinking that might be the direction that we're going in. All righty, let me get to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. January Art says, did you hear about Taking Shape closing all of its locations permanently? I did not hear about that. Wow. I did not hear about that at all. Probably just don't have no more money. I'm not surprised, because at a certain point it's like, okay, how can we continue to move to live if we have no more money? You got to still be able to make money to keep moving. You know, people say, oh, but they should have money stacked up. That's not always the way that it is. That's not always the way these things work. Let's get to the call. All right, call you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 617?
Yeah, what's going on, man?
All right, what's happening?
This is Ivan. Why you and then your squad, your team, keep blaming Democrats for the open up, for the reopen the economy?
For what?
To reopen the economy in different states. Why you guys keep blaming them?
Well, I'm blaming whoever does it.
Well, then they should blame Fauci, Deborah, and Jones, and the other doctors from the CDC, because they are the ones who have set up the guidelines. In order to, you don't meet the guidelines, they don't suggest for you to open. So, if I'm a governor, a governor or a mayor from a different location or town, they look at these guidelines seriously. So they are the ones that they should both to be blamed. No, the Democrats. The Democrats have nothing to do with this. The Democrats are not even in the White House, for Christ's sake.
Well, each place has their own ability to open or shut as they see fit. Matter of fact, that's what Gavin Newsom said. Gavin Newsom issued a reopen order for parts of California to reopen gradually, but then certain places have their own right to open how they see fit. So, I mean, why is that going? Wait. So why is that going on? If it's all about, I'm not done talking. Why is that going on? If it's all about, the states, they can do with it, and the government giving them recommendations, the state are having different opinions in the state. How does it make any sense?
That's not true.
It is, because I just told you about California. I just told you about California, how certain places are open and some aren't. So why is it different in the actual state itself? Why is it different?
Well, let me explain to you. Okay, so let's say New York, California. There might be places that still have new infections. They don't meet the guidelines. You might have a location, let's say Silicon Valley, for example. Silicon Valley, the infections are declining for the next 28 days. The mortality rate is, I guess, got to be like 2%. So got to be something really low. If they meet the guidelines, they can open up with the social distancing, with all the restrictions. They can open up. If you live in another location where the infections are very high, how are you going to open up when the infections are going up? Or the infections are not meeting the guidelines?
All right, here's a good example for you. Now, where I live is Hamilton County, Tennessee, right? Now, the chief city in Hamilton County is Chattanooga, right? You have two mayors. You have a county mayor and a city mayor. Okay. The county mayor said open up. The city mayor said close down. So how does that work?
Did they meet in the guidelines? Did they meet in the guidelines? So you need to find out first.
Listen, but you didn't hear what I said though.
What do you
sir, listen. I'm gonna just talk. Now the county The city is in the county. It's the chief. It's right in the center of the county. It is most of the county is the city. The county says open up. The city says stay shut down. So you got two guys that are in the same place, like literally in the same place, that say two different things. So obviously it's about the opinion of some people versus the opinion of others. It's not about necessarily the guidelines from Washington, D.C.
Well, each state adopted the same guidelines from the CDC. Now, the guidelines could be subject to adjust. Each state was going to be different. For example, I live in a city called Lawrence. There's another town that is next over. They only have 24 infections. All my town, there's 173 deaths, like 2,000 or 3,000 something infections. Obviously, we cannot open. But that town can open. So the 19th of this month, those states are going to open. The state of Massachusetts decided.
So how do you explain a county saying open up, but the city in the county says don't open up?
Well, they got to see the guidelines. That's something that might be personal. I don't know.
So obviously, as I'm talking, obviously, it's not just about the guidelines from the government. It's about the opinion of people that are running it. That's what's mattering, because if it's about the guidelines and they following that, then it makes sense for the city and the county to agree. If it's about the guidelines, but it's not even about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to figure out the guidelines. For example, Michigan cannot open. Michigan is not meeting the guidelines. Might be certain towns in Michigan that they meet the guidelines, but the state of Michigan don't open the guidelines. New York don't meet the guidelines.
Okay, I think I've proven that point. We can move on to the next thing.
Huh?
I think I've proven my point on that. We can move on to the next topic.
No, you just didn't prove anything, but it's not the Democrats. So
okay, we can move on to the next thing.
Trump has not fired the CDC staff members when he agrees with them in the White House, but then he tweets against them. Why has not fired them?
Fire who specifically?
The CDC, Fauci, Deborah, all should be gone.
So what did he say that was against Fauci?
Well, he say, Fauci, Deborah, they put us on guidelines, right? He say he agreed with the guidelines. 2 days later, he say free Michigan, free Pennsylvania, free blah, blah, blah. So if you don't agree with the guidelines that they implemented, that the Michigan, Pennsylvania, they have not met the guidelines, why are you tweeting saying that you want to free them? So you should fire them, Mike.
Well, there's an answer to your question, because they were not doing things that were about the guidelines, because in Michigan, they were doing something that didn't make any sense. You couldn't even buy flower seeds. Like, that's not in the guidelines where you can't buy flower. I'm not done talking. You couldn't even buy flower seeds in Michigan. That's not anywhere in the guidelines. All they say is social distance and stuff like that. They're not talking about, you can't go into a store buy an American flag or flower seeds, or you can't go do a lot of different things that they were doing. Each of the states are taking the guidelines and adding things to it and not allowing you to do certain things you should be able to do. It's ridiculous, and it doesn't make any sense. So it's not just about what the federal government says. It's about the states doing whatever they want to do.
The only thing that CDC says, no more than 10 to 15 people together. The CDC says you got to stay in your home. Sure, you could go out if it's essential. They don't want you to do any extra that is not essential. I mean, cleaning your garden is not essential. It's not a necessity.
Nah. But see, listen to what I'm saying. No. I ain't saying about no cleaning no garden. I say you can't buy flower seeds. Like, if you in Walmart is open. They're allowed to be open. They're open all over the country. But when you go in there, you can't even buy certain items. You can only buy certain things they allow you to buy. That's not a national thing. That's only in Michigan, according to Gretchen Whitmer. And then she was trying to restrict hydroxychloroquine, which saved a Michigan lawmaker's life, according to what she said, a Democrat lawmaker at that. So she was doing things that were totally beyond what the CDC was recommending. She was doing things that she felt was right, that were not right, that people in the state thought were not right, Democrat, Republican, or whatever. It wasn't even about that. It was about her doing a bad job leading her state. Simple as that.
People say she's meeting the guidelines.
She was doing a bad job. She was doing, no, she was not. She was not abiding by the guidelines of the CDC. The CDC don't say you can't buy flower seeds or you can't have certain drugs that help save your life. They don't say nothing about that. She's doing things that are outside of that. She feel like it's the best thing to do that aren't a good thing to do, which is why people are saying, let's recall her. She's not a very good governor. Not every state has that problem with a bad governor as Michigan does right now. Not every state is protesting against their own governor because they're not doing a good job. But Michigan, they are, because she's not doing a very good job. It's very simple.
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, but you've been talking for an hour. Well,
It's my show. That's what I do on my show. Funny how that works, ain't it?
when is he going to fire them?
Fire
You
who?
know?
Fire who?
Fire the CDC
For what?
experts. They're on their way. They are the one who have all these restrictions and all these
For what?
guidelines that the states cannot meet.
Okay, my question to you earlier, you did not answer. The question to you earlier was the question, because if I'm talking while you're talking, nobody can hear you. I'm asking you this question, then I'm gonna hang up. All right. You know, good night. All right, let's get to the next call. All right.
Yo,
Snap Turtle. What's going on, man?
Good, man.
Everything's good.
Snapzilla Gorilla now.
No doubt.
Yeah, I lost some weight, so. So man, what's going on?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Good. I'm out here as usual, getting my sunlight.
Definitely.
So, I want to talk about Ahmaud Arbery real quick. In regards to that situation, you're absolutely right. We do need to stick to facts. Now, there's a lot of stuff that came out about this case that I want to bring up real quick, and they're all based on facts. I don't care. I don't care about the race, anything like that. All I care about is what happened. So, basically, there are 4 elements that have to be met. From what I found out, 4 elements that have to be met before you can consider someone entering a property that doesn't belong to them as trespassing. 1, there has to be intent to commit a crime when you're on that property. 2 is there has to be some indicator that says that you're not welcome on that property. And 3 is, did you actually commit a crime while you were on that property? So basically, Ahmaud Arbery walked into the property, looked around, and left. Okay, and that is technically not even misdemeanor trespassing, according to Georgia law. And Colion Noir broke that down real well. He's a lawyer, so I can't get into depth like he does, but he breaks it down real well for the layman and explains how, as of right now, as the facts are out right now, there has been no crime committed by Arbery, all the way up to the point of his untimely demise. Now, when we talk about reasonable suspicion of the person that believed that he committed the crime, the person who did the citizen's arrest, it has to be a crime at that moment. Okay, they have to have witnessed or have immediate knowledge of the crime as it's happening, not a previous crime that they believe he may have been suspicious, been a suspect for, but of the crime right then and there. And if you listen to the 911 tape, all they said was that he was in the house, okay? And when he was explaining what Arbery was doing in the house, the operator said, well, what is he doing? Is he doing anything wrong? Because she knows that there has to be more to it than just him being in the house that's under construction, that's open, has no doors, no signage, as far as we know right now, that indicates that you can't go into the property. And so with that being said, if he said that he saw, there's nothing in the report or in the 911 call that indicates that they were suspicious of a felony being committed. At best, it was misdemeanor trespassing. So there's nothing to indicate that he was suspicious of any felony in the phone call or in the report. And then there's nothing in the report that says anything about a citizen's arrest. Not even in the phone call, or no one said that, oh, we're going to make a citizen's arrest. The only reason the citizen's arrest came up is because the DA used that as a defense to not charge them. So there's a lot of elements to this case that are coming out and keep coming out that point toward foul play in regards to Batman and Robin McMichaels. So then you have the owner of the property, whose lawyer spoke out on behalf of that owner. And the owner said nothing was stolen, nothing was taken. And, you know, they never released any video footage to the McMichaels of the previous times someone was filmed in the house before that day. And he even went as far as to say, to him, that doesn't look like Arbery in the previous incidents. Okay? So now we get into the previous robberies, right? Or not robberies, burglaries. The Michaels claimed that there were some burglaries, a string of burglaries that happened previously that he was a suspect for in their mind. You recall that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it has come out that there were no string of robberies that were reported. And as far as weeks going back to before this incident, particularly one that points to him as a suspect. The only incident that happened was somebody took a pistol out of the McMichaels' car that was left unlocked in front of their house. And there was no witness to that. Like they didn't know who might have done that. So there's a lot of things that are coming out that seem weird. Okay. Regardless of race, regardless of feelings, these are all things that are coming out. And the owners of that property did not know the McMichaels. They had no dealings with the McMichaels. So to say that someone was on a property that didn't belong to them, and so they had no idea why Arbery could have been on that property, right? He could have been a prospective buyer or a contractor or something. They just assumed he was trespassing. So,
but see, okay, like if you have a house that's not yours and you go in it, what is that?
Well, according to Georgia law, it's nothing until he actually. So this is what has to happen. There has to be a physical manifestation of a crime that is attempted to being done. So, like, say you're in a store, right, or you're somewhere, you're in somebody's property, and you take something, you put it in your pocket, and you're walking toward the door. That is a physical manifestation of intent. So what he was doing on that property was technically not illegal, according to Georgia state law.
Well, hold on. I got to pause you right there. What Colion Noir was reading was a felony criminal trespass, not just criminal trespass, because a felony criminal trespass would be what you would need to have a citizen's arrest. If there's no felony committed, then you can follow them and call the police. That's what they were doing originally. But a citizen's arrest, they couldn't do that unless there was a felony. But that's still up for I guess you say interpretation. Right. Or
it is up for interpretation.
Yeah. So now I'm reading the law right here. This is Georgia Code Title 16, Crimes and Offenses, 16-721. It says a person commits the offense of criminal trespass when he or she intentionally damages any property of another without consent, or that person in the damage thereto less than $500, and knowingly maliciously interferes with the possession or use of the property of another person without consent of that person. B, a person commits the offense of criminal trespass when he or she knowingly and without authority, 1, enters the land or premises of another person, or to any parts of a vehicle, railroad car, aircraft, or watercraft of another person for an unlawful purpose. 2, enters the land upon or premises of another person, or into any part of the vehicle, railroad car, etc. After receiving, prior to such entry, notice from the owner, rightful occupant, or upon proper identification, an authorized representative or of the owner, rightful occupant, and such entry is forbidden, or remains upon the land and premises of another person within the vehicle, railroad car, etc. So basically what I'm saying, as far as just regular trespass, they might can get them on that, because what it boils down to is, okay, here's a house, you going in it, you don't need to be there. And they're going to say in the tape that he paused when he was walking, he paused before he went into the house, looked around, and then kind of skipped inside. They're going to say, you know, you shouldn't have been there. And then when somebody saw you in there, you ran away. So you knew that you were in the wrong place. Somebody could say there should have been a sign out front, but you knew you were in the wrong place, because when you got found in there, you ran away and you skipped inside. But aside from that, that's not even really the biggest issue. The biggest issue would be the self-defense thing. Because you got to be able to prove that Ahmaud Arbery was right to attack them first, because that's what happened.
Is that a fact? Do we know for a fact that he attacked him first?
It's a fact because like they're right there with their guns. They didn't shoot. He wasn't shot when he went to him. You could see him on the tape run towards him and wrestle with the gun. At that point, he's attacking them first. So we got to
right side of the truck.
But he ran to them. But we got to be able to.
Right side, so Robin McMichael was standing on the left side of the truck, on the left side of the road. Arbery was running down the middle of the road on the left side of the truck. As he got closer, he ran around the right side, and McMichaels ended up in front of the truck. The camera sways away. So he didn't just charge him right there in the middle of the road. He went around the truck. He created an obstacle between himself and McMichael. And really the defense, the self-defense claim, you can claim he had self-defense. But the fact that he went after him in the first place and charged and went to block him off, that's where he messed up. If he'd have just stayed behind him and did what he wanted to do, call the police or whatever the case may be, he would have been okay. But when he cut him off and blocked his path with the weapon in hand, now the open carry is very legal.
So, like, what's the actual crime right there?
What's the crime?
Yeah.
So let's say the crime is now you're assaulting someone. You're stopping someone from being able to do what they want to do.
Is that assault?
Yeah. You're stopping. Yeah. Once you come into contact with that person, and it's a threat, you can say terrorist, whatever you want to say. What I'm saying is when you cut somebody off and you attempt to arrest them, but I don't think they were attempting. I don't know what they were.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's like
because the arrest didn't come up, the citizen's arrest didn't come up. That was the DA's idea.
Yeah. So I think you got to be able to prove that what Ahmaud Arbery did was correct, because the jury will see the tape. They're going to see Ahmaud Arbery come towards them with the gun. You got to be able to prove that Ahmaud Arbery was in fear for his life. They were cutting him off. They couldn't let him go forward. You got to be able to prove that. And to say that it was murder, that's going to be hard to kind of get off.
I don't think it was murder.
And they charging him with that. So they're charging him with murder. He's going to beat that.
I think, you know why they charge him with it? I don't think it's murder. They won't get murder. They might get manslaughter at worst, right? But what I think happened was, if you kill someone during the commission of a crime, they will consider that murder, right? So let's say,
I mean, but what's the crime though?
The crime is the fact that they tried to false arrest. First of all,
but you got to be. That's going to be a stretch to prove.
No, not necessarily, because guess what? The DA stepped in it when he claimed it was citizen's arrest. This DA did that. So what happened was, another thing with the law, if you arrest someone as a citizen and you're found to be wrongful, you're responsible for that. So now that they have this whole citizen's arrest defense, now they have to carry that. You understand what I'm saying? So what happens is, if you commit a crime and you kill someone during the commissioning of a crime, whether you did it on purpose or not, let's say you broke into somebody's house, you thought they weren't home, and they're home, and you tussle and then they fall over the banister and break their neck. You didn't do that on purpose, but because you broke into their house and attempted to burglarize them, they can call that murder in many states. So it's a really, I don't think the McMichaels, honestly, I don't think they went there to kill him. I don't know what they were doing. I think they probably wanted to stop him and see what the heck is going on. I don't know. But this whole thing about previous burglaries and all this other stuff, don't hold weight.
I got you.
That dog don't hunt. So, I mean, I don't know. We got to wait for more facts to come out. I'm just bringing you some more information. I'm sure you knew about all this.
Oh, yeah. We're going to see more as time keeps going on, man. Thank you for the call, though, man. Definitely appreciate it.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right. Shout out to my man, Snaps of the Gorilla, for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. If you want to do Skype like my man, Snaps of the Gorilla did, there's a link. Well, there's an email. You can add me on Skype through the description box below. Check it out right there. But let me get to the next call. And let's go. 712, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
ABL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, thanks for answering the phone call. I always love your format. This is Al from Iowa. Hey, do you know what's all really involved in that $3 trillion? Have you heard some of the details that's in that $3 trillion stimulus bill that Nancy Pelosi and almost going to throw Maxine Waters in there? You know what's all in that?
I've heard some things, but I've not heard everything that's in there.
Okay, I've got a list of some things that's in there. I want to ask people why. Okay, you have, number one, they're going to give illegal immigrants like $1,200, you know, like the rest of the citizens got. And then they got something in there, amnesty for illegal immigrants. Like, okay, got that in there, which means if they're needed, that they basically can be U.S. citizens, I guess. We understand that. And then, of course, they've got, which, what the hell this has to do with anything, Planned Parenthood, funding for that. You know, I guess to kill more black babies and babies, I guess, altogether. U.S. Postal Service. They also got $1 trillion that will go to states and local cities like New York City, L.A. Why do you think the mayor of New York and the county of, even the mayor of New York and even the mayor of Los Angeles and the county of Los Angeles, why do you think they want to keep everybody locked up? You know, that way they can try to get this gravy train money. That's what they're trying to do. And then wasn't the LA mayor, wasn't he the one that said basically he wants to keep the county or the city shut down for 3 months? I got advice for you people in even New York and LA. You guys need to go out and protest. Not just one day. You need to keep going out there. Just like Maxine Waters was trying to say in your video, that who are these people going out protesting? Wasn't she the one that said, get in their faces and protest against them? Wasn't she the one that said that a while back?
That was her.
Wasn't it? I thought so. So, and then, did you happen to see the clip of the White House correspondent course, or correspondent associations, I'm going to say White House Press, that basically they had all their masks on, but there was a camera that was rolling, and after the press conference was over, they all took off their masks.
Yeah, I saw that. That was crazy.
You talk about a bunch of phonies and stuff like that. So
I mean, it was dumb from the beginning, because it's like, okay, you're going to wear your mask now. We're in May, and this whole thing started probably back in December. So what's the point in wearing your mask now? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't either. And it's the best thing for you is that, according to Fauci, whatever his name is, basically to get out in the sun and get the UV rays and stuff, and then they're locking you up. Then you got Como saying 66% of the population that are in home are getting this flu and everything like that. I mean, come on, people, wake up! You need to get outside, get some fresh air.
That's
God
right.
gave us sun.
That's right.
God gave us sun. And then the last thing I want to touch on is I want to give diddles to a couple elections. We have special elections today. You wasn't aware of it. You had the Wisconsin House race, and you also had a L.A. race, which was the old Katie Hills district, or where she had to resign basically from the House. As of right now, of course, Tim Tiffany won the Wisconsin. He's a Republican. Trump kind of wanted him. And then you got a Mike Garcia, which is also, he's ex-military, and he's also an aerospace executive or something like that. He's ahead right now. That'd be the one I think we need to watch, because you know how LA's got this little what do you call that ballot, you know what I'm talking
Mail-in
about.
ballots.
What's that?
Mail-in ballots.
Mail-in ballots, but they also do the community group balloting too. You know, I can't think of it.
What, a caucus?
Ballot harvest. Ballot harvesting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they also have that. So this is the one that kind of I think we need to watch out, and because he's ahead right now by 12 points. So I just think that this is one that, hey, let's all just kind of watch this, and they know we're all watching it. And let's see how this goes. Because if you talk about any corruption that could happen, this could be the one you could see it could happen. So that was just a few things I had. And Ivan, I suppose you're going to wait for your $1,200 right now, right? If they get this bill passed. But you know what? The biggest thing I want to tell, you can't keep printing money, everybody. We're going to have a hyperinflation. And what's more important? I'm going to throw this out there. What's more important? To have the federal government, which basically goes bankrupt for everybody, or is it just let a few of these cities, if they go bankrupt, it's their problem, but it's also the people that are voting these people in. They've got to be fiscally responsible. So why should we have a whole country go bankrupt? Because of these governors and these city officers that basically bankrupt their own city, country, county, and government and state. Why should the rest of us end up being bankrupt too? That's all I have, ABL. I thank you for answering the call, and I appreciate your shows as usual. So you have a good one, sir, okay?
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to my man for the call. Hey, I got a message right now on Facebook from one of my Facebook followers. I won't say their name, but they sent me this picture, and this picture is of the home that Ahmaud Arbery went into. Now, does that appear to be a house that's like under construction or somewhere where you really, can just go into? Hold on. Matter of fact, let me pull it this way. Looks totally finished. Like from the outside, you can't say that's a house that you can just go into and do whatever you want. Okay, there's a porta potty right there that was out in front on the camera. Okay, so they're working on it, but it's like, you know what I mean? This is a house that's pretty much finished. Now, I'm not sure how it looked back then. I think it probably looked the same. This could be a recent picture or whatever, because the thing happened back in, what was it, February 28th? But this is a finished house. And it looked not much different in the video. So now on the inside, I'm not really sure how it looks, but that's how it looks on the outside. Now if that's me, I wouldn't go into a house like that, but that's just me. Now you see something right there in the window, so it could be new construction, but I'm not really sure. This does not really appear to be new, but I could be wrong. So that's what it is. I just want to show you guys that, so you got to, can see what's going on here. All right, let's get to the next call. The number to call is 434-658-1220. All right, Matt, what's happening?
Hey, Bill. I didn't want to talk about Ahmaud Arbery, but it is interesting. I think there's a little bit of nuance between him and Zimmerman that I think might play out. George Zimmerman kind of just always carried, and he was at that place, and he happened to see Trayvon Martin, and then just sort of went and investigated. So he had the gun on him. I think there is a little bit of liability that's going to happen to these guys because they actually brought the guns to do the confrontation when there wasn't any imminent danger or anything like that. So it's a little different than stand your ground. And then citizen's arrest, that's a pretty high bar. Like I said, I did one here in Washington, and I'm pretty lucky that the guy didn't fight back and that I wasn't arrested myself for it. So the laws are different, but that's sketchy.
Yeah. I mean, he still beat that, and I think that there could be similar arguments made in this case. And I think if you're charging him with murder, I think he'll most certainly beat that. So,
oh yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't think.
No.
Manslaughter. I mean, but if they go for murder, that means that they can't say, well, forget murder, let's try manslaughter.
Nah.
That's double jeopardy.
Right.
So I think you made a point about overcharging them.
Yes.
And, if they're really trying to do something like that, that's malpractice.
Right.
So have you heard about the code from Dr. Doom's models and stuff like that?
The code?
Yeah. It's this Dr. Ferguson. So he finally released the software to his models.
Oh, okay. And I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I certify software for a living, and I have to follow the same processes for aviation that they use in healthcare. And some of these processes are really prudent when it comes to science as well. But I think there's a connection between this Ferguson and Blasey Ford, and I'll explain that in a minute. But there were a lot of calls for him to get the models out. He kept saying no, no, no. And then a team of Microsoft engineers, a la Bill Gates, I believe, actually came in and cleaned up his code and then published it on the web for like a pseudo peer review. And there's these. I've been reading these people that have reviewed the software, and they're making points that if you build it different on a different computer, you get completely different results from the input data and the export data, meaning that the same software that runs on two different computers gives you different results.
Okay.
And then, there's a problem with something they call multi-threading, where if you have a computer that has multiple cores, basically what Windows does is it load sheds off onto different cores, and it does things like called garbage collecting to come up and clean up all the variables and everything like that get generated, used, and then thrown away. And they're having problems with just even on the same computer, if you build it, it gives you wildly different results that are way off.
That's crazy. So not only the software not reliable, and the software is probably producing improper results, even if it were operating the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, and that's after the Microsoft engineers helped them clean it all up.
Wow.
And they're saying it's. And one peer review guy said, I can't remember his name, Dr. So-so, he said garbage in, garbage out. And
yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah, so there's not even a debate if the models are wrong. The model doesn't even agree with itself.
That is crazy. And then they're using these models. If anybody doesn't know, they're using these models to justify the shutdown and stuff in the UK, especially, right?
Yeah. So I want to talk about that too. Dr. Ivan that you had on earlier, I love that guy, by the way. He was talking about how it's not a Democrat thing. And this is sort of where Blasey Ford and Dr. Ferguson, I feel, have like a little bit of correlation. Not so much, in their life, but just in terms of the way that they were used. I think Blasey Ford was lying about Kavanaugh. I think she was having mojitos or whatever like that with a bunch of moms, and she said, "Oh yeah, I knew Kavanaugh. We were at a party when I was younger. He touched me inappropriately." And then her friends were like, "Oh my God, are you serious? Hey, did you hear what Blasey said about Kavanaugh? Oh, really?" And then she had to kept doubling down on the lie, and it kept going up and up and up because people. She got to a point where she's speaking to the Senate in these confirmation hearings, and it just kept going. I don't think that this Ferguson. I mean, if you look at all of his past predictions, they're really, really wrong. And I don't think it's like the Democrats are saying, oh my gosh, Ferguson is a genius or whatever. I think it's the globalists, and I think the globalists like Bill Gates were looking for something to say. Oh, did you hear what this doctor over in England is saying? He's predicting 2.2 million deaths this time around. Look, he's got these models. Come on, Ferguson. Come on. Tell him what you think. Tell him what you think. And it kept going up to the point where he had to release the software that was just absolutely embarrassing. I mean, I've seen some code snippets of it. It is horrible. It's one big monolithic file. And in software, you don't program like that. You have to use some kind of object orientation and rationalization, obfuscation, and instantiation. There's all kinds of practices, but it was he didn't do a very good job.
Right.
And then Dr. Hans Geisich, you can say his name better than me, from Sweden. He was talking about how all the predictability models took in a static amount of healthcare. And one sort of point I want to make about that is Sweden tripled the number of beds that they had. I mean, we more than quadrupled the number of beds that we have. And in terms of the bell curve and flattening the bell curve to overwhelm the healthcare system, I see a fundamental problem even with that, that approach, because the two anecdotes that I can give on that are the Washington State ferry system is a public transportation to get out to the islands and all that stuff. And at Christmas time, there's, during the holidays and Thanksgiving, there's a huge increased demand to get on the ferry boats. And this system is absolutely inundated every year. And but aviation is also inundated in the same way. Aviation, the services scale to meet the need. They make provisions. They have pilots work during the peak demands. They have skeleton crews that aren't skeleton anymore. They bring them in. They have contractors. They have trade agreements. They have all kinds of things in the industry for that stuff to prepare. The ferry boats are just a bunch of Teamsters. They want the days off on Thanksgiving too. So it's an absolutely S show to try to get on a ferry boat. Right. Hospitals are doing the same thing. The hospitals, they don't want to increase demand during the flu season. So in 2018 was like one of the first years that we had all these deaths. They had to set up tents and stuff like that to deal with the regular flu. We should have a system that's able to scale. So these static models of a finite amount of healthcare just seem absolutely absurd.
Makes sense to me.
That's all I got, man. Be good.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, shout out to my man Matt for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's get to the next call. Let's go to 682. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, ABL.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Chris from Texas.
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much, brother. I've been listening to your program for quite a while, and I spent 15 minutes trying to get into the phone call.
No doubt.
And finally got in. But I listened to those two first interviews that you had with those two people. And, brother, I don't know what the heck is going on in the rest of the country, but here in Texas, we're ready to get opened up, get back to business, and just start kicking some butt.
I hear you, man. I'm right there with you.
And I wanted to say a comment about that Elon Musk. He's wanting to leave California because now they're putting the noose over his neck.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, he can just stay in California. I don't want him in Texas.
What's wrong?
Especially because now that things are getting kind of rough, he's changing his point of view. But once he gets here and sees what Texas is going to do for him, I don't want him bringing because he's more or less liberal. I don't want him bringing that shit to Texas.
Careful now. Can't cuss.
Okay. I don't want him bringing that stuff to Texas.
All right.
Okay. He can go to Nevada. Okay? Or anywhere else. But he needs to wake up and realize that California, if California don't get their stuff together, California is going to be a dead state.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like New York and some of the other states on the other coast, okay? And so unless he gets his stuff together, his mind of thought, he can just stay there and he can just dwindle with the rest of the people. I'm sorry, but that's the way I am.
I feel you. I hear what you're saying.
I'm a 62-year-old man. I have owned my own business for 23 years here in the state of Texas. I own a cleaning business, and then I do remodels on the side. I've done remodels on the side for over almost 10 years. When all this stuff started with the coronavirus and all that and this, that, and this, and you got to shut down, I said, wait a minute. They're not going to shut me down. Ever since this mess started, I've been working every day up to today.
Right.
So, what in the heck is going on? You know?
Yeah, people are afraid. That's the main thing. People are afraid.
Yeah, and the thing is, I watch the news on TV and regular. I usually watch here in Fort Worth because I'm in Fort Worth, Texas. In the mornings, I watch when I wake up. I watch Channel 11. I mean Fort Worth, and all they spew out is nothing but scare tactics and this and that and the other. I said, wait a minute. I'm out every day going to Home Depot, Lowe's, and other places buying materials and this, that, and the other for the projects that I'm doing. My wife is out doing the cleaning in the because we got apartments that we do. She's out there, and I tell her every day, wear your gloves, wear your face mask, go do what you need to go do, and then get home. And just be careful. So, since January, or what was it, the end of January? We have both been, sorry to say, but still kicking butt.
Right.
But the rest of the nation, other states like California and New York, are completely shut down. You know? And even here, Dallas, I mean, you can't leave the county of Dallas County and go somewhere else unless you have an emergency, and that's crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy because you should be able to move around the way you want to. This is not North Korea where you have to be trapped in your particular location. You can't move around. That's wild. Exactly.
And like I said, I'm a 62-year-old man, so I should be taking care of myself, right? I'm 62 years old because they say it affects the older. And my wife is 64. And we've been fine. You know? But you know what? One of these days, hopefully California and New York and some of those other states are going to wake up. The state of Washington up there, Seattle, and them, they're going to wake up and they need to understand that, hey, it's not right what they're doing to us.
I'm right there with you, man. But hey, I got a lot of calls online. I'm gonna get to a few more. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, ABL, love you. I listen to you all the time, and God bless you.
All right, now.
And we'll be talking to you another day.
All right, thank you for the call.
Love you. Bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. And shout out to Hake. I see you in the chat, Hake. He says, likes on this, that, and the third mug. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. I'm trying to be like y'all over there, man. Get some of the merch going on. And shout out to everybody that's been in here so far. You guys are great. We got super chats I'm going to read right quick, and then I'm going to get back to the calls. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. If you're having a hard time calling in, just keep on trying. I'll try to get to you as soon as I can. Shout out to, let me scroll up a little bit here to see where I am. Thank you to David Delasco for your donation. Shout out to Abysmal for your donation. And shout out to my man Shreves, who says, what up, ABL and fam? Stay safe and aware of your situations. You know how these devils operate. Stay blessed. I'm here in the background guard chat. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for your donation and your support as always. Shout out to Verminator for becoming a member of the channel. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to Fat Tony, who says, get up the good work, brother. Or keep up the good work. Hey, I will do all the time. And I know what you meant. Keep up the good work. Thank you for your donations, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Just Muffin, who says, Trump visiting my hometown, Allentown, Pennsylvania tomorrow. I'm so excited. Hey, that's fantastic. Now, is it going to be like an open thing? I can't wait to get back to the open rallies. If you ain't been to a Trump rally, you got to go. The energy is so crazy. I want those to come back, but will they ever come back? It's hard to tell because people are so scared. They don't want to be around a bunch of people. It's crazy, but hopefully they do bring those back. Thank you to Mandatory Carey, who says Arbery might be guilty of something, but not a violent crime. All the trespassing video did was make a first-degree hate crime down to manslaughter. Yeah, pretty much. It probably would end up being manslaughter. at the most. But if they charge him with murder, which is what they're doing right now, he'll beat that. So if they want to get a conviction, the whole murder route is just not going to work out. He's going to beat that, and people are going to be upset. Well, they might not care this time next year or whenever it gets resolved, but I digress. Shout out to Matthew Richardson, who says, stopping someone is accosting, not assaulting. That's kind of what it seems like. Yeah, assault is a specific thing. And thank you for your donation. Shout out to John Medeski, who says, appreciate that you don't sensationalize like others. Yeah, I call it how I see it. I don't try to put too much emotion into it. There's no need for that. I just call it how I see it. Thank you to the definition of anarchy, who says, what do you think about that cop that got fired for pushing for other cops to respect our rights? Now, I saw that video, or I saw the reaction to that video. What Brandon Tatum said makes sense. You can say stuff like that, but once you get in uniform, it creates political problems. The chain of command and the local police department were cool with it. They weren't really mad. But then the governor got involved. Now you got a whole different situation. Now you got the politicians coming in and regulating. So what he did was, wear his uniform, which you might get away with, but you might not get away with, because once you go to court and you saying stuff like, oh, the police, they're violating your rights, that can be used against you. So if somebody gets locked up and they want to say that they were locked up improperly by X, Y, and Z cop, they're going to bring you in and say, hey, isn't that you right there on tape talking about that cops violate your rights? And if you think that way, then what other rights do they violate? Is it a stretch to say that they violate this particular right or that particular right? My client feels like you violated his rights, and you said on camera that cops violate your rights. So it's more of a political thing and a legal thing, and not so much anything else. Like I said, the chain of command, from what I've been reading, they were cool with it, but the governor got involved, and then it was a different story. So he could have said that, just not in uniform. That's all. But I support him saying what he said. But the political stuff got in the way. Shout out to Hake, like I said, for giving me the props on the this, that, and the third month. Thank you for your donation as well. And shout out to Ignacio, who says, Trump rallies are the best energy. It's amazing. Everyone is so friendly, and there's so much diversity. Yes, absolutely. You nailed it. And thank you to Nature Boy Alfie, who says, what's up with HR 46? I mean, it's right now, it's just something that's been introduced, but it ain't really gone anywhere. So, and I don't know all the details of it. So as of right now, it's kind of a nothing burger, in my humble opinion. But if it were to become an actual thing, then it could be a problem. I'm going to look into that. I might do a video on that. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. And shout out to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Let's get back to the next call. Call you on the line, 607. Who am I speaking to? 607.
Hey, ABL.
What's going on?
Hello?
Yeah.
ABL. I'm just going to make this really quick because I know you got a lot of colors. Something I heard from another YouTuber. I'm not going to say his name. But I don't know if you heard about this or not. But apparently CNN is going to have like a new town hall about COVID, and one of their guests is going to be the greatest expert of them all, Greta Thunberg.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that little graphic. They're talking about, oh, well, we got to have real doctors commentate on it. And if you're not a real doctor, then please sit down. Last time I checked, Greta Thunberg was not a doctor. She barely even going to regular, grade school, let alone medical school, let alone have, become a doctor. So that was really interesting to see.
I was just curious what your thoughts were on that one, because, I mean, I really can't think of any more of a unqualified person than her.
Oh, no, you're right on point. But, at a certain point, these things aren't even about who's qualified, who's not qualified. They don't really care. They're more concerned with just trying to get ratings. A lot of these, what was it? Was it CNN doing this?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't really, they're trying to get ratings. They're trying to get people to watch their channel because nobody wants to watch it. But Greta Thunberg is kind of a draw, and she'd be able to get ratings. That's all that really matters. They're not really too concerned about, people that actually have sense, people that actually are thinking critically, people that are experts for real. They're bringing on experts that have their same opinion, and then they'll also just bring on regular normies that can just bring in people to the crowd that are clearly not experts.
Never. I thank you for your insight up on that one. But nevertheless, that's all I want to talk about. Have a good evening.
I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Okay, yeah, so matter of fact, I'm going to bring that up right quick. There's an article. This is on New York Post, and I want to find that little graphic they had. But here's the headline: Greta Thunberg added to CNN's expert coronavirus panel. Twitter erupts. So I think it was a tweet. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that tweet. Hold on, let me just get this in proper view. There we go. Again, this is New York Post. You got Greta Thunberg. Oh, there it is right there. That's what I wanted. So, okay, this says, let me just open this in the different tab. Okay. I'm going to zoom in right quick so you can see it. A CNN Global Town Hall, Coronavirus, Facts and Fears, hosted by Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Special guest, former acting director of CDC, Richard Besser, former HHS Secretary, Kathleen Sebelius. Oh, my goodness. And Greta Thunberg. Like, that's her right there. So right next to Sanjay Gupta, an actual doctor, you have Greta Thunberg. Like, what are we doing? But, hey, this is CNN. They will pretty much feed you anything to make them ratings get higher than what they are, which are pretty much in the basement. But let's get back to the calls. 301, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Kind of muted out. ABL. Thanks, man. Benjamin Bussey. It's Corn Park, Maryland. You made me do a little homework today, brother, because of the last show before this one. You had mentioned Maxine Waters. So I wanted to just find out a little bit about Maxine because you showed us. I listened to her speak, and I'm looking at this woman and I'm saying, it's kind of strange. So I went on. I looked up on Google about Maxine Waters and I found out a little information about her and how she is. She's the 43rd congressional district. She has the 43rd congressional district in California, and just a little bit about her. She's been there she's been elected for 28 years, and her district looks like a cesspool. I'm just quoting, and it says Maxine Waters doesn't live in District 43. She lives in a $1 million+ mansion just outside.
That's right.
So you have this woman here. She got her hands tied up in this bill, and also her handiwork, the proof of what she really is about, is all the pictures of the 43rd district and all the homelessness and the people living out in poverty. So from what I see, this woman, she doesn't care anything about anybody but herself. And she sits on a throne, and beneath her throne is people wallowing in filth and starvation. So, and I'm kind of getting an idea about a lot of the women that are Democrats, because I'm starting to check a lot of them out. And I'll just end on this, man. I'm beginning to feel that there's a coven of witches in the Democratic Party, because you see like Nancy Pelosi, you see their handiwork, you see what they've accomplished, and it doesn't look good for people. So I thank you for your call, and I'll keep up the great work, man. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, Maxine Waters, Book of Witch of the West, literally. You know, you got this rundown, beat up district, but you live in this nice estate right outside, beautiful estate. You know, and that's how a lot of these politicians are. They want you to kind of like live in squalor, right? But they live in just, and then wasn't her husband like on the board of a bank and did some kind of corruption? Not really sure about that, but I know that there's something there for sure. It's always like that too. But hey, I'll keep on rocking. The number to call, 434-658-1220. 520, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Zach from Arizona. How are you doing?
Everything's good, man. About yourself?
It's a beautiful day in Arizona for a change, so I can't really complain either.
Absolutely.
Have a few questions for you. I'll try to make this brief so you can move on to other calls. Couple of months ago, maybe, I was talking to you about the education debacle and how some of us, how the kids may or may not go back to school after this.
Yeah.
So it sparked another question in my head, and it was, given how how the education system itself works for a change. Do you think that we are teaching kids the wrong things, the wrong subjects, so to speak? Because I'm thinking I didn't go to college because my goal was to go into the military, and some injuries and such kind of sidelined me from that. So I kind of missed out on prepping for that. But I'm thinking, my question boils down to, do you think that we are not teaching enough kids the value of trade work, if that term makes any sense to you?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're not teaching kids the proper things they should learn in school. And if we are teaching them these things, we're not expressing their importance. There's a lot of things wrong with the education system. That's a whole different topic right there, because, you got Common Core, dumbing down education, kids ain't really learning too much. And then you have a lot of the parents not doing early education at home before they go to school. And a lot of the kids are starting off on the wrong foot. So
right,
it's a whole lot of things going on that aren't really the way they're supposed to be. But yeah, the trades are very important, because even if you don't get a job or a career in trade, you should still have those skills in general just to be able to walk through life, because you got guys that can't change a light bulb at 35 years old. It's really sad.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. That's kind of concerning, because these people are going to have to be self-dependent one day, and I feel like these schools are not training these kids to be self-sufficient in a way.
Right.
Second topic here. The great and holy one.
Hold on. Caller. You got a lot of noise in the background.
Yeah, I just walked past a bunch of dogs. My apologies.
Oh, okay.
Doing a walk. So the great and holy one on the Democratic pedestal of Joe Biden. He's made gas after gas, and I agree with Larry Elder's term when he calls him a gas-style assault weapon. Why I still fail to understand why, after video kind of evidence of his decline, why people still cling to the idea that this man is fit to run the office in November. Should the snowflakes chance in the underworld that he would win?
Well, I think that they know they don't have another choice. This is the best they got, because we saw what he did in the election, in the primaries. I mean, he did very well. South Carolina, he's still strong among the black vote. So people in the Democratic Party, in my humble opinion, know that Joe Biden is declining. They know that he might not be able to make it, but they don't have another choice, because he is the most popular person out of anyone that's out there right now running. What they should have done was pick a better person to be there, or to at least get them ready to be there. But they didn't do that, so now they're stuck with Joe Biden.
That's fair. So do you think that now that Comrade Bernie has dropped out of the race for the Democratic ticket, that he might split the Democratic vote again by running third party this time?
No, not going to happen. Nah.
You don't think so?
Because I think Bernie has been pretty much set up by the Democratic Party to be kind of the loser, kind of the fall guy. He don't really, just like, I got a lot of noise. What's going on?
Might be the wind. I mean, move somewhere.
Okay. I'm gonna just mute you for right now, so I can, you know what I mean? But I think what's happening is Bernie is not going to really do anything that hurt the Democratic Party, because he's already been pretty much set up, probably got paid, probably, he doesn't want to do anything that's going to upset them. He's going to just play his position, play his role, and not really try to go third party. He can't really win that way anyway, so there's really no point. All he would do is just upset the Democratic Party, and that'll upset his constituents. That'll hurt him more than it would help, and it won't be successful anyway.
Okay, that's fair. So you don't think that regardless of who Joe Biden's vice presidential pick would win, or vice presidential pick, that he would win at all?
Nah, no, it's not going to make a difference, because you can't really pick anybody that's that strong to help him win, because they don't want to lose. Like if you picked a Hillary Clinton or somebody like that, they don't want to go out there and lose. Michelle Obama don't want to go out there and lose. So there's somebody else you can pick that'll be strong enough to make a difference in the election because they know that it'll probably be a losing effort.
Fair enough. That's quite settling to hear. I didn't think so either, but, you know, I'm one voice, wanted to get a second opinion. Hey, thanks for your time. I hope to talk to you again soon. Love the videos. Keep them up.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
Cheers.
All right. Shout out to the caller. And let's get back to the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 719, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Considering every time I watch the news, I want to rip my TV off the wall and throw it out in the street.
I hear you. I understand.
I tell you, I was talking to a lady today, and I think the one thing that the Democrats have forgotten, and the Republicans, that Americans, the one thing that we've always had, you know, is we like to shake hands, we like to hug, we like to, you know, we're affectionate with each other. Well, we were up until Obama got into office. But, you know, and I think that that's causing more distress on people than just about anything at this point. It's sad to see.
Yeah, I think you're right about that because, you know, people they're trying to say stay home saves lives, but they're not looking at all the other things that this quote unquote staying home saving lives is actually doing to us. You know, we're social people. We want to be around each other. We want to, you know, have family gatherings. People want to hang out with their, you know, their cousins, their grandma, aunt, uncle. When you don't have that, that's going to cause damage to you on an emotional level, and that can cause some health problems as well. See, people don't really look at that.
Yeah, and they're doing it, I swear, they're doing it deliberately. I mean, I can't believe all these years that I actually believed that, you know, I was a Democrat. And I don't say that because these days I'm not sure after all these years who I really was. All I know is that I always knew from a young age that our government pretty much told us what to do. But these days, I swear to God, in the morning when I wake up, I think I'm in Russia or China. I don't understand how they can sit there and actually believe that now they're starting to take our food away from us. And they're doing the exact things to suppress us because they watched this happen in Venezuela. So, you know, they see it as a way to bring us down. But I think they're making a mistake this time. People are starting to get angry. And whether people want to say it's the red pill or whatever, but I think people are finally starting to realize that our government was never really there to help us. They pretend and they make us think that they are, but when times are hard and you need them, especially when they close us down. If this isn't something that we did because we didn't want to go to work or we didn't want to take care of our kids, and let's face it, most of us, the American dream means you can just put food on the table for your kids and, you know, you hope better for your kids. And the one thing that you're allowed to leave your kids, because most of us can't even afford at the end of the day to even pay for our own funeral. But the one thing that we always had to leave our children and their children, where we were free. We actually were free. And now they seem to be robbing us of that. And I think they're going to have a rude awakening here. And I'm more worried about the consequences that it's going to have on the people that aren't preparing for this. I think that they're going to end up being really, really hurt in the end of all of this. And this country's being torn apart, and it's being torn apart by people that all these years have pretended to care about us.
I'm right there with you.
But, you know, I swear to God, I'm old now, and since I was 17, I always told my husband, he always called me a conspiracy nut because I always prepared for the worst. I always had extra food in the house, and honestly, white people were poor too. It's a ghetto when you're black, and it's trailer trash when you're white. You know, so we grew up poor. There were times my dad would skip dinner, and he would say, "Oh no, honey, I'm fine. I had a big lunch." And it wasn't until we got older that we realized, you know, that he was skipping dinner so that he could make sure his kids had enough to eat. And I'm so angry right now that there are days I wake up and I watch the news and it actually depresses me in my heart. I actually feel something, it feels like it's just pulling at me, and some days I just think, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I hear you. I mean, I just hope that we can get past all this. And I think at a certain point, people are just going to say, okay, enough is enough, no more. I'm opening my business. People are going to come to it. And then I think if everybody does that, it won't really be a way for people for the government or anybody else to try and stop it. And I think even where I am, you have some of these guidelines going on, but the police aren't really enforcing it. They're just kind of letting things go. I see the police all the time, and it's really no problem. And I just hope that the whole country can adopt that type of philosophy rather than just having us looking like North Korea.
Well, unfortunately, I truly believe that I don't think that we're going to be able to do that without some kind of violence. I mean, I was watching a guy the other day on social media, and I've watched him a lot over the last couple of years, and he was talking about going down. They were going to hold a rally, not a rally, but they were going to go armed. And they were warning police that not to try to stop them or take their weapons or arrest them. And people, they really need to realize that I think that, unfortunately, we are headed for, it's not a civil war of words anymore. I honestly believe that people are going to have to take a stand one way or another. And I hate to say it, but I think that we're heading in a direction because the Democrats are not going to let this go. And now that they are actually pulling stuff like, let's face it, I've been to 2 different stores in the last couple of days, and there's no meat there. There's a little pork, a little chicken, but basically there is actually no meat. And Colorado, we have tons of cows, and we've got a lot of farmland out here and stuff, so we've never really been in this kind of a situation. But, when things like this begin to happen, we're going to see things more and more, and I don't think that it's going to end civilly, unfortunately, especially when you've got Nancy Pelosi out there signing off a bill that talks about helping the rich.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, it's really all these bills ain't really going to do nothing. They're just dropping up the debt. It's really kind of a mess. But hey, I thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
You too, and have a wonderful day.
All right, now same to you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Let me get back to the calls. 313 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
What's going on, Levi?
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh, not much. I was calling in for ABL.
Yeah, I got some background noise in the background. Can you turn speakers down for me?
All right.
All right, you there? Caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm right here.
You kind of breaking up a little bit. Are you on speaker?
No.
All right. So what's going on?
Not much. I just I'll be checking you out here and there. I believe I would like to see you familiar with Young Pharaoh.
I know you're talking about, yeah.
I believe y'all can get together, and then you have to older and younger.
Hello?
No, I'm saying I think you need to do a collab with Young Pharaoh.
Okay.
Because I do believe that what you want to call it, Trump is that man. Like when he got rid of those test kits when they sent the FBI in there for.
Caller?
Yeah. maybe I'm getting some kind of lag. I don't get it.
Yeah, are you watching the stream? You can't do that. Just talk to me on the phone.
Oh, I got to turn the stream on?
Yeah, don't talk to the stream at all. Talk to me on the phone.
Okay. Let me see. All right. That's better?
Just keep on talking, Doc. We live on the air.
Oh, yeah. I just think you and young Pharaoh should get together. Donald Trump, man, doing lots of things in the background that people not understanding. As far as like when he got rid of the test kits, things of that nature.
So, do you think young Pharaoh? You think young Pharaoh is pro-Trump?
Yes, he definitely is.
Okay.
That's a definite. You probably can catch up with him, but yeah, we ran for Trump.
Right.
Because all this other stuff that's going on, nah, cut it out. Democrats, that's old these days.
Oh yeah, I'm with you 100%. That's pretty much a done deal, and I think you're going to see more of that coming up in 2020 in November. You're going to see much more of that. You're going to see the black vote go up. It was already higher in 2016, but I think now we got more to vote in 2020, and it'll keep on going from there.
Oh, well, definitely. So I'm riding with it. I don't try to take up too much time, but when I watch certain things, I start recognizing like what Trump is shutting down. What's his name? Fauci.
Fauci.
There's a whole lot of other, Fauci. There's a whole lot of stuff going on in the background. And by me being ex-military, when I was talking to my wife, I was telling them they keep using military terms. So I just want to put this out here. This is like one of those silent wars.
Okay.
But remember when they first started out, it was Trump talking about task force. You got a coronavirus task force. See, these military terms. And we keep saying when this enemy is eradicated, see? Enemy. How is a virus an enemy, see? You got to understand that they're using military, terminology. Now I'm going to go with this. All these people, I don't know if it's true or whatever. I just see these images on TV, whatever, where all these people all of a sudden wearing these, ankle bracelets. So,
yeah, I don't know anything about that. Ankle bracelets? I don't know anything about that.
As far as Obama wearing one. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Oprah, I think. I don't know anything about that though, but I did see that. But I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, right. I'm not saying this. I don't like to speak. I just know what's floating around. But the thing is, they do have actual paperwork about, Kevin Spacey, all of them. They have actual paperwork about them being indicted.
Okay.
So they're in court right now. That's why supposedly they all wearing these ankle bracelets. But they names are actually on some actual documents as far as child trafficking things, all kinds of things they've been doing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna look into it some more, man. But thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Oh, don't you? Yep. I'm not gonna hold you up too long.
All right, now take care.
All right, you too.
All right, shout out to the caller. Now, what he was talking about are some of these pictures you saw of, I think, Ellen and then Oprah. They had on ankle monitors, like the house arrest type thing. They had on sweatpants, and if you zoomed in on their ankle, you see like this little box right there on the ankle. That's like what you get when you come home from the penitentiary, right? An ankle monitor. So I don't know anything about that. It could be something that's legitimate, illegitimate. I don't know anything. I'm just saying that I did see that. But let's get to the next call. Jordan, what's happening?
Nothing much, ABL. Yourself?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
That's good. Hey, we all should probably stop listening to Californian politicians. We really should.
I never have. Not Nancy Pelosi, not Gavin Newsom, not Xavier Becerra, not anybody over there. Eric Swalwell, none of these nut jobs.
Yeah, like Gavin Newsom just he just looks like a snake oil salesman. Like Miss Maxine wants to talk about, California is doing great under this coronavirus. Did you know that in San Francisco, homelessness is up 300%?
Oh yeah, the homelessness is ridiculous, and then the disgusting conditions they live in is something totally different.
But specifically, homelessness in San Francisco, which was already bad, had tripled.
Oh yeah,
of this whole thing.
But you know what's happening with that is that they got all these programs that are attracting homeless people. See, you can't live in that city if you're not a millionaire, basically. Like to actually live there, and to own property, you got to be pretty much a millionaire or more. You know, so the problem is that you got people that are attracted to the city from other parts of the country because you got all these programs. If you want to be a dope fiend out on the street, you can go out to San Francisco, get clean needles. You got all kind of people with money walking by, giving you things. They got all kind of NGOs and everything else, giving you free hots and all this and that. So it's like the homeless Shangri-La in San Francisco. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. It's real interesting. You know, Elon wanting to move out of state if he doesn't get his way. He's been appearing a lot on the Joe Rogan podcast. You know that?
Yeah, I just saw him recently on there.
Yeah, he did a recent episode there, and I think he's maybe, and did he have a Twitter conversation with Donald Trump?
I think what happened was Trump was, encouraging them to leave if you want to leave, or open the Tesla plant in California if he wants to, and Elon said thank you. That's what I saw. I don't know about anything else, any kind of other conversation.
Well, there was a conversation with one person, I think some guy who was like, think about this. You're agreeing with the president. Think about that for a moment, like that. And then he smacked him out like always. But I think Elon has had this reawakening. Be quiet, LaTanya. I can talk about Elon when I want. But there's this awakening with Elon about this whole thing. Like the whole, what was it? The ventilators thing. When he pretty much spanked CNN for posting fake news about it, the ventilators. Did you know that after that they tried to argue semantics, saying that what he what they ordered was not actually ventilators? They were like these little sleep apnea things, but
they were trying to say, oh, we didn't get X, Y, and Z. It's like, come on, we donated these to, we gave these to you. Stop looking good for us in their mouth.
Yeah, but those were non-invasive ventilators. You could name it all you want, but Elon's kind of right. He did do that. So,
okay.
Yeah, they I don't know. They just dumped it. They just fell apart, and it's really, but it's interesting to see Elon take this direction. He might take a direction similar to Kanye West. I don't know. But
we'll see.
Yeah, but about the Arbery case, this whole case has been chopped and screwed. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I don't have any confidence in this. Like, I'm not familiar with Georgia law, so I'm not going to understand. But I feel like even despite what happens, he has a black prosecutor. And like pretty much the majority of the prosecutors are black. And then you might just have like a majority black jury that's just going to convict the two white guys that were involved in the Arbery shooting and put them to jail. That's what I feel like, regardless of what comes out, that's going to be the outcome. What do you think? Thoughts on that?
Hold on, my thoughts on what now? Run it back one more time.
The Arbery thing. Well, what?
Okay. Yeah. Now with that, I mean, I don't know. That can go a lot of different ways. If they try to do some funny business down there, that can go to a higher court. So, that might not, if they try to do something down there funny, I don't think they want to do that because it won't end well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so bad. This whole thing has been butchered. It's just sad seeing it go this route. What else I got? Oh, yeah, I want to talk about the economy right quick before we go, because when you were talking about people ignoring the effects that this has on the economy, there are people that actually will stick with the unemployment benefits that they get from the stimulus packaging because they get paid more than if they actually had worked their actual job. Like there was a woman who owned a spa, a series of spa resorts that had, because of the whole lockdown thing, she wasn't able to pay her employees and had to take loans. But then when she got covered and tried to get those employees back, they all said no because they got a lot more money being unemployed than they without it. And she had to shut down pretty much her entire enterprise because of it.
That's really a shame. And that's what's happening. People are getting paid to stay home. What's the incentive to go back to work? I'm making more than what I was making working, so I'll just take that. They're getting $600 per week on top of their regular unemployment benefits, what it would normally be. So, like, when she add it all up, they can make more staying at home. And if it ain't going to end no time soon, what's the point in going back to work? That's their mindset. Obviously, that's not a good mindset because that ain't going to last forever. And then when it's over, what are you going to do? You might have made a little bit more money for a month, 2 months, 3 months, or whatever. But now you have no job to go back to because the job that you had has now been given to somebody else. And you're going to come back to a hard job market because people are going to be struggling with money. So it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. But that's what happens when you give people that don't understand these things the incentive to stay home and just do nothing and get paid.
Yeah, but we'll end this for now at least. This whole thing is temporary. So after a few months, the packaging will be over. It depends on how this virus thing goes. But it is really a shame. It's people don't think about the future. They think about, and this has been a problem with a lot of people. They think about instant gratification instead of working to get the benefits later, because you get your benefits now, and in the future when you get older, there's nothing for you to stand on. Like, you talk about this whole socialist communist aspect. How are you going to be able to provide people their needs, but at the same time stifle the production of getting the money to get those needs? You know what I'm saying?
You got to say it one more time.
What I'm saying is that how are you going to, like, money? The government doesn't produce money. The government gets their money from taxes, which is
I gotta pause you right there. The government at a certain point might produce money because of the printing press.
Yeah, what I meant was not actually. Yeah,
but they don't the government does not operate on. In theory, they operate on taxpayer money.
Yeah, they don't. What I meant was that they don't actually put in the legwork to make money the way that citizens do. They just print money like crazy. And yeah, you end up with the whole inflation thing, and you end up doing like what many other countries like Venezuela and Zimbabwe did, where your savings mean nothing and costs are high. But the thing is that you can't be able to, nobody thinks about the future. You can't be able to provide people with basic needs if you're going to stifle business to get the money to be able to provide those things.
Right.
That's the thing.
I'm with you.
And it's very unfortunate that people still don't grasp this concept, and they have to wait until we actually get into a bad point of our lives to realize that. Like, if we're too far into the whole socialist thing and they finally see the effects of socialism and it's too late. That's what I'm worried about.
Right. Yeah.
All right, but I'm going to bail because I'm tired. I feel like, I don't know, I feel real tired, even though I hadn't done anything today. So I'll catch you later, ABL.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. All right, shout out to my man Jordan for the call, and thank you all for being here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Yeah, you know, if people want to do video calls, it's all good. There's a link in the box. Well, an email in the box if you want to do Skype. It's all good. Whatever you want to do, I'm with it. Let's get to the next call. 480, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes, 480, who am I speaking to?
I think I may have got the wrong number. I was trying to get a radio show.
You're live right now. You trying to talk to ABL?
Yeah.
This is me speaking to you right now.
Oh, oh, okay. I was watching you on television. I was like, oh no. Well, so let me turn this down. And am I ready to go?
You ready to go?
Thank you so much. This is Marie from Texas. I was going to talk to you about a few things and answer some of these things that some of these people have been putting out there. Let me get this turned down for you, okay?
Yeah, just go ahead and turn it off.
Okay. I think the first thing that I wanted to say was I think all this virus, to me, thing kind of started with a real virus, but I think they decided to use it as a weapon against Trump because of the fact that I think what they're doing, they got scared of the MAGA rallies, how big they were getting, and then how it was feeding over into Europe with the yellow vest, with the Hong Kong protests, because a lot of people were starting to get, I think, more or less involved in, and catching off, like how you said, the energy. And I think that scared them. So I think that's what they wanted to do a lot with separating people. But I've also been listening to things like your one caller that she was talking about the Colorado meat and that. We've got a cattle man here from North Texas, and he's on YouTube telling you how they're shutting down these industries, that they're trying to take them over. And there's a doctor from India, and she has a thing where she's going against Gates because he's trying to take over Africa and India, and he's been giving bad shots to people in Africa. But I think it's all together with this global stuff because they are trying to take out the meatpacking plants. And then she was talking about how Monsanto and, there were several other companies where she was saying that they were dictating the seeds and stuff, and how John Deere's involved because they're chipping the machinery that the farmers are going to be using, and it's going to be shooting up to the satellites and identifying if they're not using those Monsanto seeds or how much they're producing. They're supposedly China has taken over a lot of our seed stuff, and I mean, it is just scary, all the tentacles where this all is going to, where they can shut us down, where we can be controlled. And I am just so scared because if we don't start getting involved, there is a gentleman that came on Coast to Coast, and he was trying to mobilize people, and he's got redpilluniversity.org, and he's trying to get people to start mobilizing against this stuff, or we're going to be like that little frog that gets boiled to death, but it may be too late whenever we do. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to get through this stuff because I've been trying to get through to you for a long time. And, it's just this testing. I'm wondering why people aren't talking about the president of Tanzania when he did the testing on pawpaw fruit and goats, and how he had all false proof testing that they were all positive, and he was laughing, saying something's wrong here. And that's why when they're testing here, it's like if he had all those tests and showed that they were skewed, what makes you think they're not doing that here just to bump up the numbers to scare everybody? That, and then the vaccination, they've talked about how Dr. Budar with Dr. Minkowitz, how they've talked about the vaccination is full of mercury and all this stuff that's going to, when the 5G rolls in, it's going to be more or less, if you've taken these flu shots and all this stuff they've been making you take, you're more set up to be more or less the radiation and all this stuff is going to make you ill. And I don't know. I mean, I know I'm saying an awful lot here, but I had so much to say. And like people that are complaining about the masks and people not wearing them, to me, even Dr. Budar said that you're causing stress on your system, your body, because your body is trying to breathe, and now you're mobilizing viruses that are already in you that shouldn't have been activated, and now you're setting yourself up for more trouble because your body's trying to breathe and it can't breathe normally. And I mean, just everything is so scary with this. And that's why I say, when are we going to stop? I just think it was the rallies. I think they were scared of the amount of people and the momentum he was getting at those rallies. I think a lot of it ties back to it, that they don't like seeing that. They don't want to see people mobilizing like that together and stuff. And like I said, I just, I know I've unpacked, as you say, a lot of stuff here, but I just, And then, the incentives with the hospitals. You've seen these nurses coming out talking about how they're killing people in there.
Yeah.
But, you've had doctors saying how they're paying $13,000 if you just put COVID, and they're putting $39,000 on the ventilator. And my dad passed away in September, and I just wonder, because they had him on a ventilator, because they say those things will rip your lungs up. And now they're seeing where they should be putting them on preemie ventilators instead of the regular ventilators. But still, it's like, I don't think anybody even wants to go to the hospital because of the fact that you may not come out. But I just, like I said, the pawpaw fruit thing got to me, though, Tanzania. It's like, here he is sitting and laughing, but saying also that something's wrong here. And the skewed tests, all the skewed tests. So I just, like I said, Fauci is like, there's just nothing, like I said, nothing right here. And I know Brandon Tatum's been talking about getting mobilized and stuff, but I think we need to start doing it before it gets, too late. And people need to start waking up because, we are being stripped of our freedoms and we aren't going to have it. And we are going to be, it's like, I know in the 70s when I was younger, you could watch those sci-fi movies where cameras were watching you, or, it was the, what was it? It was one where they had taken over you. And I mean, it's just all this stuff from the 70s. These sci-fi movies are starting to look real now of being under control. And I don't know. I just, like I said, I'm just such a nervous wreck here because I'm trying to get through so much.
Oh, it's all good.
Get through to you.
It's all right.
I just think you're a great person, and I love watching you. And I hope someday that we clean house with these politicians, and we have more people like you, Brandon Tatum, Amazing Lucas, and, just people with sound minds, Candace Owens, just people up there that seem to be real people, and hopefully, they don't get changed. And, I mean, you already see that with AOC. She was this little wreck that went in there, but then all of a sudden now she's behaving, and now all these people that put her in there that are angry because now she's, I guess, drank the Kool-Aid, as they say. But I don't know. I'll let you go, but thank you so much. I am so happy I got through to you. And I think you're a wonderful person. And if you ran for office, I would support you, and I would even want to work on your campaign.
Well, thank you for your call and your very kind words. I most certainly appreciate you.
Okay, well, hope you can put a bow on it for me, and I'll let you go. Oh, and that's another thing. I hate it because now I'm hearing all these radio shows, and they have to be listening to you because they're using your line. They're saying, I'm going to unpack this, I'm going to put a bow on it, and I'm like, okay. Only one person gets to say that. So I'll let you go on that note, but you take care of yourself, and we all love you out here in Texas.
All right, thank
Goodbye.
you. Appreciate you. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, but, I'm not worried about nothing. These things, it's like a whole lot of stuff going on, but I'm not worried about too much. I think everything will be just fine. Especially when the people are informed like we are here. And if you're informed, you got the power to be able to go out there and fight what's happening. All right, let's go 720. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yeah, 720. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, yeah, this is Russ from the People's Republic of Colorado. How are you, man?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Man, I tell you what, I've never realized how important freedom is until it's not there.
Oh, yeah, really. I mean, talk about not knowing what you have until it's gone.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. So it's crazy. So we've been under these quarantine orders for like over 6 weeks now, and we've just now started opening back up the hair salons and tattoo parlors. And a few of the restaurants are open, but a lot of the restaurants here are mainly doing takeout or delivery. So they're not doing any dine-in, which really stinks because I'm trying to get back to a sense of normalcy here. And it just feels like our blue state governor is trying to keep us locked down forever, and it sucks.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my thing that I'm talking about. It's like, okay, they keep having all these lockdowns, they're extending the lockdown. And I'm like, okay, when do we get off the lockdown? We going to be here forever? They're talking about years we're going to be locked down. At a certain point, how long can this continue?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm honestly thinking that there are people out there, mostly leftists, that want this thing shut down forever because they're not very happy, and when they're happy, when they're not happy, they don't think anyone should be happy either. They think happiness is selfishness, and your living life and enjoying it is making them and others feel bad. And so in order for them to feel good, you have to feel bad.
Right.
That's just kind of the way I'm seeing it. And honestly, this particular situation has just been driving me crazy, because now we are ordered to walk around outside wearing masks. And if you so much as walk out the door without wearing a mask on, you have a snitch outside waiting to call authorities on you. It's nuts.
And then, okay, here's my thing. You got the snitches calling the cops on people not wearing masks, but if you are a sex offender, a violent criminal, you get released from jail because they don't want you to catch the virus.
Right? Okay. So which is it? And it's crazy. And, I appreciate everything the Trump administration is doing to combat this. I just want the economy opened up. I want people to have their jobs back. And I want people to actually be able to work and not have to live on the dole, because you live on the dole, you just lose every sense of self-respect you've ever had. When you're working and more productive, you feel a lot better about yourself. Trust me, I know. I have been in both positions before. And trust me, I feel like I am more productive when I'm working. I honestly think, and I've also been reading social media comments saying, well, good, I hope this thing's locked down forever, because the people that work in the hospitality industry, like restaurants, bars, resorts, of that nature, you know what? It's good that you're out of that job, because now you can get a better paying job. You've been working dead-end jobs for years, and now you have the opportunity to get a better job. We should get rid of dead-end jobs altogether. And comments like that are just very asinine. They really piss me off.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like no. It's an ignorant comment to make. People don't understand that the way the world works. They don't know what they don't understand what they're talking about. It's just like when I was watching this little debate earlier between these two newscasters. Like, it was two newscasters interviewing an expert, like a real, actual, legitimate expert, and they were trying to argue with him. It's like, I don't think you guys, who are probably like 21 and 22 years old each, newscasters, know more than this guy who's probably been in disease since like the 80s. But anyway, they're trying to argue with him, talking about, hey, we could just stay on the lockdown for, I don't know, for a very long time and give everybody UBI. Then they could survive. And it's like, well, wait a minute. People still got to be able to produce things. How are you going to eat food? How are you going to drink water? How are you going to have power to go to your house? How are you going to have roads? How are you going to have anything if people aren't out there being able to produce things? People got to go to school. You got college, middle school, high school, elementary school, daycare. You still got to have these things. So you can't just stop society and give everybody money. You're forgetting that you still got to have society.
Exactly, ABL. And the thing I was thinking about is you have Democrats in the House wanting to pass, $2,000 a month for people to live on. Well, that's not enough. Let's go up to $3,000. Oh, hey, that's not enough either. Why not $4,000? Oh, still not enough? Okay, $5,000. Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we pay people $100,000 a month from the government to live on the dole? Oh, no, that's too expensive. That's going to drive us bankrupt. Well, when's that stopped anybody? Okay? You put a number to it, it's just going to keep going up. It's just not going to stop. Okay? People are always going to want more. The amount is never, ever going to be enough.
That's right.
Okay? And if that were to ever be passed, goodbye to economic recovery, because people will not have an incentive to go back to work. And we want people to go back to work, because that's how a proper society functions. I want to be able to go to concerts again. I want to be able to, see, independent flicks and things of that nature. And I love, social interaction in groups. And if I don't have that, and I'm stuck living on Zoom calls or, just going to my regular job every day, then I'm sorry, after a while, it's going to take its toll, and it already has, because I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be more to life than this. I am tired of having to walk out of my house with a mask on, traveling to and from work, and when I'm off, I'm either doing laundry or I'm on Zoom calls with people. I don't like it. It sucks.
I hear you. I really do understand. So we got to get back to living normal life. And at a certain point, people are going to say, I've had enough, and they're going to get back to normal life. Then it's going to be the issue of, are you going to try to tell us to not live normal life, to go back to our homes? Now you got a big problem on your hands. But I don't think that it would get to that level to where it's a serious problem. People will just stop obeying the laws. I think that'll pretty much be what happens.
Yeah, well, with the contrast of what the red states are doing versus the blue states, it's really going to show the blue states that, like, hey, you better step up, because if not, then you're going to continuously be left behind, which is what I think a lot of blue state governors are wanting right now, because they are doing everything they can to obstruct the president, to make sure that he is defeated in November. Never mind who the candidate is, they want him defeated in November, and they feel like the only way they can do that is to keep the economy on this downward spiral and make it his fault.
That's right, man. Well, hey, thank you for your call. It's been a great call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, take care, ABL.
All right, now, same to you.
You too, bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. Excellent call. Thank you to all the people in the chat. You guys have been great. Shout out to the super chatters right quick. Shout out to Hiker AZ67, who says, Arizona opened restaurants on Monday. The ones that were able to open are not the same. Places that used to be great to go to now have a limited menu. Servers that are not happy to be there and raise prices. The dining experience is not there. Yeah, I can imagine. You know, it's kind of like that here, but not really. I don't see anything about the raised prices or whatever, but I do see some of the service might be a little weird. But the main thing is the capacity of the restaurant, because these restaurants operate on a particular model, right? A particular business model. They want to have full capacity to be able to turn them tables after 30 to 45 minutes. Okay. They want to have parties in there to make a lot of money from the parties. Like, I've worked in the restaurant, so I know how it is. I worked at a buffet, Old Country Buffet, back in the day, back from like 2002, 2007. I was one of the bus boys, and I was a prep cook, all this and that. And I know how to do the tables. They have a big back of the restaurant. It's a big party room. Those make a lot of money for the wait staff and for the restaurant itself. You got to have these tables filled up. And if you got 50% capacity, and you also have people that are kind of fearful to go to restaurants, or they don't want to sit in kind of a section off type place where it's not really the way it was before, it just kind of ruins the experience. And the restaurant can't be doing very well financially because they don't have their full capacity to be able to turn them tables consistently and have a packed house as much as possible. You know, and they can't have any parties really, because you can't have that many people in one space. Like, let's say, okay, prime example, we used to have all the time buses that come through, like it'd be a bus of football players or something like that coming home from a game, and they want to come eat. So you got like 40, 50, 100 guys on a bus that want to come in and eat. That's a big, thing. But if you can't do that, then you're missing out on that big amount of money that people depend on. Mother's Day, it ain't there. So they need to just open up the restaurants totally rather than doing this game. Like the silliest thing I've seen was they've redesigned lines at an airport, socially distanced, and you got all kind of little screens up in front of the little kiosk, in front of the register, whatever, where the lady is at, to take your information, to give you a ticket. But then when you get on the plane, everybody's in one little tube. So it doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. At Target, they have a screen up in front of the person you talking to check out at the register, but you're touching the same keypad that everybody touches. You're touching the same items that everybody touches. You're in the same building with everybody else. So none of it makes any sense logically. But let's get back to the calls. All right. 732, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
At Target, yeah.
732.
I was listening to you while I was had the phone. My name is Enrique, and I'm just calling Candace Owens line again. Black people is not leading in most violent crimes, and they're not leading in crimes overall. So I want to talk about that. In
hold on, wait. So when you say that black people are not leading in violent crimes, what are the actual numbers of the violent crime by percentage arrest?
Well, that's funny that one of your callers about 4 calls before said something about young Pharaoh. Young Pharaoh, I was going to go do the research anyway, but it just so happened I caught a live stream by him. And first of all, the statistics for 2019 are not even out yet. They come out in September, I think 11th, and well, it's funny that it's September 11th that the statistics come out, or the 12th. It could be. And the 2020 is not. Yeah, it's 2020 now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and give you the round off numbers. If you want to check it out, you have to go to the FBI. We're going by the FBI numbers, and they're only going by the 2018 statistics. So yeah, there 100,000 more. And violent crimes, white people are leading more than black people. That's violent crimes, And we're going to go by age also, 18 and under. So, yeah, like I said, 100,000 more. So it's like 400,000 and some change, and black people are like 300,000 and some change. Go look it up, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I got one more question. Now, how about murder statistics? Who's leading in that?
Violent crime.
No. I mean, okay, hold on, sir. You answered that question. I'll let you get it out. Okay, we got that. Cool. I'm with you right there 100%. My next question, a different question, a separate question is murder. Who's leading in that?
Okay. Like I didn't do the research like I told you. I just caught a glimpse of his video. I still didn't do the research on it. And murder statistics, I believe black people are leading in that by like I think it was 1,000 or 2 more than the white because they had all races on there, but I paid attention to the white and the black. So yeah, I think the black are leading by like 1,000 more, like 970 something more than the white people. But still, but wait,
hold on, wait. Now, let's talk about percentages right quick. I'm going to just expand on that and give you the percentages so we get a little bit of a different context. Because we know about population percentage and per capita and stuff like that. Whites are about 65% of the population, maybe between 60 and 65% of the population, right? Now, blacks are about 13% of the population. Black people commit. Sir. Now you gotta wait. When I get to talking, I'll let you talk. Let me talk. We can do it like that.
That's true.
Now, black people, 13% of the population in the U.S., but we account for 52% of all the murderers and 48% of all the murder victims. That's wildly out of proportion to our population percentage. Okay, so that's a serious problem we can't really just gloss over. We got to talk about that. That's a real issue.
Yeah, we cannot gloss over. See, I'm not going to gloss over that because the decisions need to be made in the community where black people have to do better. The younger ones have to do a little bit better. I'm only 26 years old. I stay in the hood. Well, I'm not in the hood right now. I moved out in the hood. I'm in like a semi-decent area. And when I was out in the hood, bruh, like, you know what I'm saying? ABL, this is my first time talking to you, ABL. You say you from the hood. I'm going to take your word from it. I hope you ain't lying about it. Boom. I'm in the hood. So, you know what I'm saying? There's people that's in the streets, street guys who also go to work. There's a small percentage of people, yes, who commit crimes, killings, and they're very graphic. They're very, it's bad, you know what I'm saying? But like I just said, a small percentage of younger black males are committing crime. People in the hood busting their ass, going to work. Excuse me, my voice is a little groggy. I just got done smoking a blunt. People, you know what I'm saying? It's in the hood, busting their ass, going to work, 9 to 5s. You know what I'm saying? And then I hear some of these white people talking about something. Well, they can push for a better job. Well, shit, they need.
Hold on, caller. You can't cuss though. You can't cuss.
I'm sorry. I apologize for cursing. But yes, they need to push for a better job. But we're gonna go back to the statistics. Okay, you're saying to me that black people are killing. Yeah, they have majority of the murders. Okay, I understand that, but who are the victims? The people that they're living next to majority of the time, which is our other black people. So it's like, that's like saying, okay, white people living inside of white people, they're killing their people because they're living with them. So of course it's gonna look bad because they're all together. Black people don't have the money to live in the Chicago.
But hold on, I gotta pause you. I gotta pause you right there because it ain't just about the proximity. Because everybody knows that, you know, whites kill mostly whites. You know, Hispanics kill mostly Hispanics. Blacks kill mostly blacks. We all know that, but that's not even. That ain't the point. Hold on, that ain't the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is the level of the murder, the amount of the murder. Like I said, we're 13% of the population, 52% of the murderers, and 48% of the murder victims. Okay, and that 48%. And that wait, hold on, wait. And that 48% is us killing us. 48%, but we're only 13% of the population. Okay, so that's wildly out of proportion. The white murder rate is right around their population percentage. Okay, and the same thing with, matter of fact, it's less than population percentage. Same thing with the Hispanics. We're killing half of the people in the United States. Half of the people, we're only 13% of the population. Whites should be killing.
Black people kill with half of the people.
Because, okay, no, hold on, caller, listen. I'm gonna answer your question. You're saying, how can that be possible? How is it possible that blacks are only 13% of the population, but kill half of the people in the United States? I'll tell you why. It's because I'm gonna tell you why. We kill so many people, the number adds up to half of the murders. That's why.
What do you mean you kill? Okay, when you say half of the people in the United States, you're trying to tell me that black people are going out of the hood, going and committing violent crimes in other areas. Bruh, there's so
No, I ain't say that. Where'd you get that from? I ain't say that.
Oh, but that's the perception that you're giving off.
No. I said it. I was very clear when I said that blacks are 48% of the murder victims. And it's mostly us doing it. So when I say half of the people, wait. When I say half of the people, I'm talking about the murder victims. You got 100% people that die, right? Out of people that have died, you have 100%. 50% almost is us. So that's the truth. We're killing half of the murder victims in America as black people, killing black people and other people too.
I don't know about all that 48% because the reason
look it up.
Are they just focusing on the black on black? Or are they focusing on other people that have killed black people? Because that has to go into place too.
I'm gonna give you the numbers.
That has to go into place too. You're saying black people done die, okay, but are they looking at other people that also have committed crimes against black people?
I'm gonna give you the numbers, sir. I'm gonna give you the numbers.
Come on now,
sir. Listen to me now. Now, listen. No, you got to listen to me because I have the numbers. I've done the research. Now listen.
I know you got the research.
Sir, listen to me now. You can't just now. Like I said, 48% of the murder victims are black. 95% of black people are killed by black people. So there you have it right there.
Black people. Hold the hell. That's a goddamn 95% of black people killed by black people. What are you talking about? 95% of the black people are killed by black people?
Look it up.
Bro, there was just a black guy, Ahmaud Arbery, who was killed by a white man like two.
That's one person. That's one person.
That's one person, but how many times has that incident happened?
Okay, let me ask you this. How many black folks get killed every year on average in the past 10 years or so? Do you know?
I don't know the number, but black people do kill black people in the hood.
I'll give you the number. Sir, I'll give you the number. 7,000. Right around that. 7,000. Every year.
7,000 what? Every year are killed? 7,000 you said?
7,000 black people are killed every year, thereabout. And it was higher back in the day. Like when you go back to the 80s and the 90s, it was like 10,000. But lately it's been about 7,000. So you can have one black person get killed by a white person, but the majority, 95% of the black people who are shot killed are killed by other blacks. That's a fact. Look it up.
Okay. Black people are committing crimes against other black people. It's violent, the murders. But I was saying violent crimes in general. Violence. I said violent. White people are leading over black people in that statistic, and Candace Owens needs to stop lying because she looks so. She's
so what lie did she say, sir? What lie did she tell? What lie did she tell?
What lie she tell? I just told you what lie she told. She said something about black people are leading in violent crimes. I just said they're not leading in violent crimes. They're leading in murders. They're leading in murders.
Okay, now when you say leading, sir, listen now. I got to put you on mute because you got to listen to what I'm saying. Now,
okay.
When she says leading, could she mean in a per capita basis?
Per capita, explains what to me what that means. I don't know what that means.
Now, per capita means per the population. Like, okay, black folks, 13% of the population. If we're committing a whole lot more murders, how can I explain? Black folks, we kill a lot of people. It could be less than whites, but when you look at a population percentage, it's higher than theirs as far as the percentage. It's just like, the welfare thing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, when she says that we're leading, it could be based upon the percentage that we commit versus the percentage that whites commit, not necessarily the sheer number. The sheer number should be higher because whites have more of a population than us, but if we're committing crimes at a higher rate, the per capita number is going to be higher.
I got to go back and do some more research on it. I'm gonna listen to some of the statistics that she said again, and I'm gonna listen to you a little bit more, and I'm gonna do some more research on it because I feel that they have been lying about the black people and the violent crimes and the murders. Yeah, the murders are there, but it's not as much. They're putting a more of an emphasis on the murders than what it should be. I don't think it's that many. They're targeting Chicago, Detroit, and Baltimore.
You gotta look it up, man.
Jesus Christ. You're only targeting 3 cities.
Nah, we're talking about the whole country. We're talking about the whole country.
What are you talking?
I've given you the numbers. You gotta look it up, man. Look up the numbers and then come back and then tell me what you found.
I will definitely look up the numbers. And I wanted to talk about Trump for a quick second. Trump, I was speaking to a guy.
Well, caller, I'm actually kind of beyond my time. You've been on for a little while. I'm beyond my time. I'm sorry though.
Okay.
But thank you for the call, man.
Okay.
I definitely appreciate
it. Okay, brother. Go ahead, bro. Okay, I appreciate it too.
All right now.
All
right. Shout out to the caller. All right, I have to go. I'm actually beyond my time. Time flew away from me. I'm sorry if you were not able to get on. I'll try to get you on the next time I stream. I'm here every Wednesday and Saturday from 8 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all for joining. It's been a very good show. You guys are fantastic. I have super chats to read that I'm wrapping on up, put a nice bow on the top. Thank you to Boat Like a Leopard who says, thanks ABL for teaching callers 8th grade stats. It's all good, man. I want him to learn. I want everybody to be informed about what's going on. Do the research, look up what's going on and figure out what's happening because we got to get information out there. Shout out to T-Bone MMA who says Pharaoh knows how to twist statistics he's believing. Hey, that might be what it is. Shout out to Nippon who says, why did Donald Trump ask journalists to ask China? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because China started the whole virus. Exactly. That's why he asked her that. Thank you to my man Killer Sushi 99 who says, look up Kevin James' short film called Out of Touch. Hey, I saw your message and I watched that. That was an excellent film. I really enjoyed that little short film, like 2 minutes. He sees his friend in the park and they shake hands. Mask wearers call the police on them and they take off running behind being chased by police dogs. Yeah, that was a great little short film, 100%. Thank you to Jay's Danger Room who says, this is Jay from South Florida. I pray for you, Tatum and Candace. I don't like that you guys are being attacked by fake conservatives about Ahmaud Arbery. Hey, it's all good, man. Thank you for the prayer, man, because a lot of us need it. We trying to, they're attacking us over that. But, a lot of that is just from people that did not like us already. And they're just using this example. They're using this instance to try and attack us some more. That's all that it is. It ain't really nothing else to it. It ain't going to stop no show because these people were not really influential like that anyway. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Darren Buchanan who says Young Pharaoh is calling Candace a coon and B word. Shaking my head. Hate to see it. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jazzy Cat for the donation with the emoji. I appreciate you. With the mic drop. Yeah, shout out to the mic drop. Thank you to Jimmy B, who says, Mad Max, reclaiming my time. Yeah, I remember that. That was ridiculous. Showboating for no reason, not getting anything done. Let me see. Shout out to Hake. I saw Hake in the building earlier. James Hake from Jesse Lee Peterson's show, the producer on there, if I'm not mistaken. He says, many people aren't scared. Colorado restaurant full of patrons, Mother's Day got shut down by health department. COVID suppressions becoming political. Exactly. It's not even about safety. It long since has stopped being about safety and is now about politics. That's all. And thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to the definition of anarchy, who says, owner said there were no doors back at the time. Oh, you're talking about the house? Yeah, I saw a picture of the house upgraded and, updated. They built on it a little bit since then, but it looked kind of the same as far as the exterior facade. And thank you for that, though, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Nature Boy Alfie, who says, what's up with quadruple six? I think I answered that one earlier. All right. And then lastly, but not least, shout out to Max Dominguez, who says, more good news coming out of Houston, Texas. We got meat, toilet paper. For the most part, businesses are open. People are generally not wearing masks anymore. I stay in Dan Kerenshaw's district. God bless. Hey, that's good to hear. Very good to hear. Where I live is kind of like the same thing going. People are wearing masks a little bit, but not everybody's doing that. Most people are kind of getting back to normal. It's like, okay, that lasted for a while and we're pretty much done. We're back to business. Traffic is booming through the roof. Like, the cars out here are crazy. I think we're getting traffic from other places too, and that's okay. We're going to go back to normal and go back strong. All right, that'll be right for me. I'm out. Shout out to the moderators. You guys are doing a great job as always. We got lots of Jeans, Elon Zen, Michelle A, Ansel, Killer Sushi, Bill from the Hills. I think I saw Shreeves in here earlier. Cynthia Webb, I see you. Michelle A, of course. Thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience on the internet, and that'll be a wrap. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.